idea what I'm doing because it's completely random. That's how I started.
There you go.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
Uh,
evening, everyone. And yo to
this
Caden.
is yeah. Hello, Caden, who is right on the dot. Jeez, like
Mm,
immediately. I have so much stuff. Okay, I got a mysterious box here that usually I check these things. I know what's in here, but I haven't actually verified it. Uh, and we're going to be talking about Marvel Cinematic Universe type stuff. Uh, and I'm like, I can speak on some of that. I can speak on Marvel and Transformers' connections, including a funny story about the IDW crossover that happened many years ago. Um,
cool. Okay.
uh, I found out this week that somebody's actually watched all of Beast Wars Second and Beast Wars Neo, the '90s animes that only got fan subbed like a couple years ago, which is why I hadn't seen them.
Yeah,
Uh,
but interesting within the conversation. I'm like, okay, for sure, Anthony must have seen these. And I'm like, nope. So,
you know what the problem? Like, if it, the big thing is they came out in the '90s, like the mid like late '90s, around the time the regular Beast Wars show came out,
okay.
and like I said, for whatever reason, they were never fully fan subbed until a group recently did them. If
Mm.
this had been 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I probably would have watched them all. But like I only got so much time in the day, and I remember watching the first episode of the new subs of it, and being like, "This is fun. I would like to keep watching this," and then I just never did. Other things took my attention.
You know, that happens. I know a handful of shows where it's you want to get into it and you just there's not enough time in the day to get into it.
Yeah, in the '90s, there's a very old a very old storied Transformers website still in existence called Dave's Transformers page. It's been around since the '90s. It still looks like it came from the '90s. Dave is still there updating it with like reviews and stuff.
Nice.
Uh, and back in the day, he had tapes of the whole show, even though he didn't speak Japanese. So as a kid, I just read the summaries of what happened in every episode, and he's like, "I think this happened. I think this happened. This is what I saw."
Hmm.
So that's as much as I know.
And like with the earlier like the Master Force cartoons, it was basically the same thing. Like one of our friends from school, he
Mhm.
was able to get the VHS copies from Chinatown, and we would watch them. And again, it's like we just had to figure out what they're saying and what's happening, which was pretty simple to figure out. But you can't. I mean, you don't know it specifically what they're saying, but it was very cool watching that compared to the US animation.
Yeah. And like, see, I've watched those three shows, Headmasters, Master Force, and Victory, because they got official releases back in 2012 and 2013. They came out pretty quickly. If
Mhm.
they'd done the Beast Wars Second and Beast Wars Neo back then, I probably would have watched them too because I had the time and the
Right.
resources, and you could buy them off the shelf at HMV. And also, they were really cheap. They were like $25 per set for like a 40 episode show.
Oh, that is cheap. I didn't know HMV was selling them too.
Yeah, back in the day, they did because Shout Factory did them. The guys that handle most of the Transformers releases.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, they're probably so cheap because they were like subtitled only. Like they didn't have the dub on the discs.
Right.
Uh, Gaten says it's cool because the Bayverse wanted to make a cinematic universe. They had some ideas, but they were shoved into the last night. Yeah, I've described the last night as like what happens when it's a clash between writers that want to do a bunch of different things and a director that wants to do the same thing.
Hmm.
Um, the most famous lost one is the movie that was under the working title of Operation Skyfire. Did you see the last night, Spin?
I watched some of it. And when I know at the time it's like I was more taken by the like the butler character than
Yeah,
everything else that was happening in the movie.
yeah. There's a part in that movie, and it's completely random, where Anthony Hopkins is like, we've had the Transformers have fought with us for centuries and centuries. You
Mhm.
right there, Bumblebee, you met me really briefly in World War II when you were here on Earth fighting in World War II. along with Hot Rod. And then there's like a little minute long, like you just look it up on YouTube. It's a,
Okay.
a minute long mini movie where they're like, suddenly here's a flashback of like Bumblebee and Hot Rod as World War II vehicles, and they roll up on a Nazi
Right.
mansion with a bunch of allies and blast it. And we go back to the present day. We just forget about it.
Hmm.
And that they were trying to set up one of the cinematic universe things because they were going to do a whole World War II movie. And Operation Skyfire was the working title of it.
Now, would it have been the Skyfire from the other movie that had merged with Optimus?
Uh, Probably not. Well, I mean, they probably would have done the Jetfire Skyfire split because he went by Jetfire in that movie.
Hmm.
Um, there was I don't know where to find it. It's very hard to find, but there is concept art that was done, and it did depict a jet transformer, but he changed it into like a World War II airplane, and that was probably the new version of Skyfire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
but
would be
that's
interesting to find that.
out of all the things they were gonna do, that's the most well known because they took time out of the movie to like try and tease it, and we've seen like concept art and stuff.
Okay.
That's probably not going to happen. It was a cool idea, but
Hmm.
like like the last night itself. Once you got it in the hands of that creative team, it probably wouldn't have worked out very well.
Yeah, 'cause there's only so many ideas you can, kind of put together into one project without it either just being a complete mess or just conflicts within everyone that's working on it.
Yeah, well, like the grand scheme at the time was they were trying to do the Star Wars model, which they were doing for a few years, which didn't work for Star Wars either. They quit after a little bit, where they were trying to do one movie a year, and
Right.
that's why Bumblebee happened so quickly because it was going to be the Star Wars story style spin-off in between things. And then because of the time it takes to make a movie, they were already deep into production when last night like flopped and they decided they weren't going to do this, so they just made Bumblebee anyway because they're like, we're literally already filming it.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a bit of a challenge for a movie studio to say, let's try to do a movie a year, where it's
yeah,
others will be like, well, we'll do a bunch of movies at once, but we'll release them like once a year, as opposed to like, well, let's release this and then try to quickly produce an entire movie and release it within a year. It's too much.
yeah. I mean, like eh, at the height of I mean, Marvel stuff's kind of slowed down a little bit, and they're doing a lot more TV shows. But like, there was a point where they were putting out like multiple movies a year, but
Hmm.
like, they're not like they're like different stories and only like loosely connected, unless they're doing the big Avengers thing. So like, it's a little
Right.
more variety there. Whereas
Which I Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, whereas the one Star Wars movie a year thing, I'm like, that's just another Star Wars movie each year. So I think
Mhm.
one of the reasons that kind of came apart was people got fatigued really fast.
True. That and I mean, even the diehard Star Wars fans that I knew of, like, they would always talk about the movie coming out, and then once it's out, they never speak of it ever again.
Yeah, hey, that was the problem apparently. Like the two spin-off ones they did, Rogue One and Solo, they both had like really troubled productions where they had to like reshoot like a big chunk of the film.
Oh,
Uh
okay.
and uh and both movies just did okay, so they were like, this isn't working, and neither of these have worked out, so we're just scrapping this idea after two movies.
Right. Wow.
And the constant thing is people are like, the shows that they make now, those are the ideas that were floating around for more movies. They just decided it made more sense to do them as TV shows. Like there was an Obi-Wan show, there was going to be an Obi-Wan movie. So
Well, how did the shows do? Because I know the cartoon series, I believe those did well.
yeah, they seem to be doing okay. I mean, The Mandalorian was pretty well regarded, and people seem to like the Obi-Wan show. So I mean, they're
Okay.
still making more of them.
Wow.
Uh there's one I haven't watched, and it's called Andor, and it's about a secondary character from Rogue One that nobody cared about, and everybody was like, "Why are they making this show? Like, who
Okay.
cares about this guy?"
Okay.
But then apparently it's like really good. because they were like, nobody cares about this show, so we're just kind of do whatever we want over here and make something really off the wall.
Interesting. I mean, it's almost like how is it? It's almost like a Deadpool concept where it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the least known character ends up being the better out of the entire production.
yeah. I guess it was one of those cases where they were like, when people care less, they have less eyeballs on the production, less cooks in the kitchen, so they kind of got to tell a kind of a different story.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah. When Caden says, "Do y'all watch the DCEU?" I don't really keep up with it. I've seen a bunch of it. Like, it's not just that. I don't really keep up with Marvel stuff these days either. Like, after they did their big 2 parts Infinity War Endgame thing, I kind of jumped off because that was a very good ending, and I have a problem with a lot of fiction where, like, if you give me a good ending, I just kind of stop watching it.
Well, I found the TV shows actually did really well. So
Mhm.
it's kind of that in between the tie back into the movies. Um,
Yeah.
Although I've heard like a couple of the movies here or there weren't that great, so I haven't looked at them either.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of the recent. I saw the big crossover Spider-Man movie, and I saw the
Yes,
second Black Panther, and those were both good. But those were the
those
only
were
ones
good.
I've watched. Yeah,
Um,
I haven't
well,
seen like Black Widow or Shang-Chi or any of the other ones, so I can't speak on their quality.
Shang-Chi's good, and let me see, and the one with Doctor Strange and Wanda,
Oh,
that one's also good.
I saw that. I forgot I saw that until right now. I did like it
Okay.
because I fell off on the shows as well, but like I did watch WandaVision because everybody watched WandaVision, and that kind of it's the Doctor Strange movie is more of a sequel to that than anything else. So I
hmm
was like, all right, I'll watch the continuation of what that show was setting up.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to Ant-Man, and I haven't watched the first or second Ant-Man yet, but because Kang is in this third one, um,
Yeah, yeah.
and then after watching the Loki series, it actually it makes this upcoming movie really interesting.
Yeah. Caden says, so is this going to be about the Transformers in the MCU or the Transformers cinematic universe? I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, I would say it'd be in a sense it would almost be both because the MCU and the Transformers cinematic universe would in a sense merge into one universe, which probably would fall under Marvel, as the comic book did when in the original series.
Hmm. Yeah. As somebody, I've mentioned this before, but like last year, I read the entire Marvel run, start to finish, of Transformers. So it was kind of interesting watching, because like the third issue of that comic, Spider-Man shows up,
Mhm.
in their usual let's have one of our most popular characters point to these guys and go, they're so cool, you should keep reading their book. Um, and that issue and the issue before that made it very clear this was the Marvel universe. Like somebody mentioned listening to Dazzler on the radio. Uh, Nick Fury shows up for one panel, just being like, "What is going on out there, out in Portland, Oregon?" Because that's where Transformers was happening.
Mhm.
Uh, there was a bunch of other like little references, and then as the series went on, they just kind of de-emphasized and dropped that.
I
And
mean, it's almost like bringing in as many fans as you can, and then you just kind of like move away from that idea, hoping that you've captured those fans.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of like, I know Marvel and DC both get crazy about timelines and hyper time and all that stuff, because I'm like, Transformers definitely starts being out in the Marvel universe, but like it cannot by the end, because like you got like Earth getting invaded and like, oh, hello again, TF Johnny.
Good evening.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Uh,
How you guys doing?
we're good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. I know you
Nice.
guys aren't into American football. I don't think over there too heavy, but the playoff game is on right now.
Oh, nice.
Kansas City and Cincinnati for
Wait,
halftime.
Yeah.
well,
So
playoff for
multiple.
college or NFL?
No, NFL. So they're playing for the So it's the conference championships. So
Okay.
so it's the AFC conference and the NFC, and the NFC Philadelphia won, so they're going to the Super Bowl, and whoever wins this game against Cincinnati and Kansas City will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Okay. I mean, I don't watch sports. I know of it, and when when everything's going on. I guess the question is, when is this Super Bowl happening? Because isn't it usually Thanksgiving?
No. So normally it's so they added a game to the regular season in the NFL, and they've changed the format, the scheduling format of how they do the Super Bowl. So now after this game, there will be a week of rest and recuperation, and then the Super Bowl the following week. So about 2 weeks from today, this Sunday, will be Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay, wow. It somehow seems a bit late.
Yeah, it's starting to, the NFL wants to, have their name in the headlights and, active as long as they can to make more money,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the thinking on that.
That's how it goes. I'm like, hey, the Super Bowl's the one football thing I know. I will occasionally watch it, even if it's more so just for the experience than any investment in whoever's playing.
Well, that's the whole thing with the Super Bowl ads. That's the thing too. So a lot of these companies put a lot of money into their into the Super Bowl ads. People. You have a segment of people I know in America anyway who will look at the Super Bowl just for the ads.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Or the Super Bowl halftime performance. So.
Yeah, that too. I'm like, if somebody great's doing the halftime, I'm all into that.
Well, Rihanna's doing it this year. I don't know if you're a fan of hers or not, but she's doing it this year.
Oh, okay.
If it's like most other performances, the question isn't just what's Rihanna doing. It's just who are the other 200 guest performers who are going to show up, because that's how every one of these works.
Yeah. Well, look, you get millions of eyeballs on you, so I would want to grab onto that coattail too. It's great exposure.
Oh yeah. Sure.
It's always funny because nobody ever does a solo performance. It's just
nah. It's always you know. You had some guys like Prince. I think he rode solo for the most part. I think. Whitney
that was a good one.
But those were older performances. Like nowadays, like you're saying, there's always guests and so on. So yeah.
Well, I mean, Prince, what was at that level? Like he just himself.
Oh man, Prince is Prince.
Yeah, like you don't need like anyone else to go with Prince. Like Prince is Prince, as you said.
He's my favorite artist of all time.
Yeah, I remember that performance because it stuck with me because he played a Foo Fighters song and it started raining and he just kept going in the rain.
He did.
Oh, nice.
Their main hit. I can't. The best
Someone
of you.
The best of you. I got another confession to make. I'm your fool.
Yeah, he sure did do that. I remember that.
Yeah,
and it did rain. You're right.
Yes, even now that's one. A lot of other ones I've forgotten, but that sticks with me just because that was such a vivid image.
Yeah, and that guy, certain people transcend whatever their whatever genre or whatever they do, like the Michael Jordans, the Pele's, the whoever, and I just feel Prince is one of those guys. Michael Jackson, So I just love Prince. I love his music. I just think he's the ultimate artist. I really do. In terms of singing and musicianship, and he's my guy. That's my favorite guy. So.
That's a good favorite guy to have.
Yeah, growing up, there was always a discussion. Who's better, Michael Jackson or Prince? Everyone always says Michael Jackson, and I get it. I mean, he's a talent. He's a natural talent in a lot of ways, but Prince was just on another level in terms of being able to write music, being able to play instruments, and just overall vision and and just Prince. I mean, his look, his style. I mean, he got away with a lot of things that I would say heterosexual men probably couldn't get away with. So yeah.
Well, I mean, there's those jokes where it's just like, Prince could, dress however he wants and he'll still show up and steal your girl.
And that's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah. Chappelle did a great skit on him, man.
Oh yes. With the basketball and everything.
Yeah, blouses. Skins and blouses.
Well,
Wow.
the
But,
one album that a lot of people slept on is when Prince did the soundtrack for Batman in '89.
oh man, great,
Like, mhm.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say about that? Party man,
Yep.
party man, party man.
Well, mine is
That dance.
Vicky Waiting. Like the bass line and the rhythm for that, like
Yeah.
he was well ahead of everyone else.
Oh man,
Mhm.
yeah. I tell you, the guy was a genius, man. He really
Mhm.
was. You know, that's one thing that I regret. I never got a chance to see him in concert.
Same here. Same here.
So I try not to. I was telling my wife too, like, like if there's like bucket list people that are still living and are still touring,
Yes.
I would like to do that. You know, I have a whole bunch of people that I would like to see. I mean, I like different genres of music too, so it's like different guys across the genres. I would definitely like to see in person. That'd be dope.
Nice.
Yeah, Prince would have been number one on the list, but that's not going to happen.
Mhm.
Unless they do a hologram concert.
I don't think he would have. Something tells me he wouldn't be down with that if he had the choice.
I don't think so either.
No, he
I don't
wouldn't.
think
He
so
would not.
No, I don't think so either. He seems to be like, like a man's man, that term.
Yes.
Like he was an artist in a sense, because he fought for art, in the artists owning their music and being
Mhm.
paid properly and kind of breaking away from the industrial chains. And, he was one of those guys, and that's another reason why I like him,
Mhm.
So you're right. I don't know if he would be on board necessarily with the hologram, especially if he wasn't getting all the proceeds from it, or if the state wasn't getting all the proceeds from it.
No, exactly. And I think somewhere within, he probably still has a contract of some sort that
Oh, I'm
states, do not like sell my music to commercials. Which they did. The Beastie Boys did that. Don't make a hologram of me. Like, just keep my art as art.
Right. And that's solid. I love it.
Yeah, guy was forward thinking enough that I feels like a thing he would do.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we were
Movie
talking
and show
about.
ideas. Nice.
Huh?
I said movie and show ideas. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. We were talking about Marvel and Transformers and how, like, right at the start of the original Transformers Marvel comics, they were supposed to be in the Marvel universe because, like, Spider-Man showed up for an issue, and that same issue, like, Nick Fury was like, "What's going on over there?" So, like, it was Marvel until it wasn't. And then way later on, there was some kid wrote a letter in asking, like, "Is this still the Marvel universe? What about issue 3?" And somebody was like, "Never mention issue 3. We're our own thing now."
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember if I remember right, wasn't that issue with Spider-Man? Didn't he like tie Megatron up like with webbing?
Yeah, that's the cover of the issue.
On the cover, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can look it up in a second. But yeah, and he was in his black suit because it happened to come out like right in the middle of the like black suit saga.
Secret War. Was that Secret Wars?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I was going to ask you, Johnny, in terms of, like, I know you said you're more diehard comic books than of the movies. I guess what is your thoughts of the movies compared to the comics of the Marvel movies?
All right. So for full disclosure, I'm by any means I'm not an expert. So what I've done here lately, I've just gone on this thing where I want to go back and look at things, kind of fill in the gaps, so I can be more versed and just experience things that I want to experience, in totality and stuff like that. So I need to go back and look at some of the X-Men stuff, some of the Spider-Man stuff, to get more of a feel for it better. You know what I mean? I know things like it just. So the MCU, I like it. I've seen all the movies. I love the the Infinity War saga. I like Thanos a lot in that. There were a lot of good things, like the Hulk and Thanos. That fight was just crazy.
Yep.
And there were other scenes as well. I don't know, comparing it, because I mean, like anything, the book, whether it be comic book or any kind of like written literature on anything, will be better.
Yes,
Than what
always.
you can than what you can fit onto. So I'm a Stephen King guy. Just one analogy. So they did the I love Stephen King, and I read the Gunslinger series and all that good stuff. And they're like 5 books, I think 6 or 7 books, between 5 and 7 books in the Gunslinger series. Thick books. I mean, and and they made a
Okay.
movie out of it, and just they chop a lot of things into it, and Matthew McConaughey was in it, and he kind of made the antagonist kind of goofy a little bit. It's just it kind of rubbed me the wrong way because it took such a long time to get through the books and all that. But anyway, it's the same thing with the MCU. They're gonna have to get the meat of it and kind of chop it down the size and all that. But I enjoy them. I don't dislike them. I like them. I enjoy. I see everyone that comes out, and I do like them. I think they have really good actors. I think Robert Downey Jr. is awesome. I mean, whatever he does is pretty much good. But these guys, I can't think of the character name who plays Thor, but they all do a pretty
Chris
good
Hemsworth.
job. Yeah, Hemsworth. Yeah, like they all do a good job, man. They that's one thing I do like about the MCU. They bring the comedy, the personality, as kind of into it.
Yeah,
and it's that alone brings more people, maybe outside of the hardcore fan base. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's dope. And speaking of Secret Wars, Spin, I think they're coming out with the movie, The Secret Wars, this year. I think, right?
is it this year?
I think either this year or next year, right?
Okay, yeah. I mean,
was one of the reveals. Yeah,
I did hear talks of it. Because I don't get too deep into behind the scenes movie news, but I did hear of it happening.
Yeah, that and Krang. Man. I think Krang the Conqueror.
It would be great if because I feel like they've sort of been, the MCU's been doing Spider-Man in reverse, and only now is he in it where he originally started back in the comics. So it'd be great if they do Secret Wars now and they have him get his black suit there, the traditional way again, like the way he did originally.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That didn't occur to me until now, but I'm like, hey, if they're doing Secret Wars and they got a pour down on his luck Spider-Man kicking around, well, let's have that happen like it did,
And I like Secret Wars. I actually I finished the audiobook maybe 2 months ago.
Okay.
I redid it because again, that was a long time ago, so I just wanted to experience it again. So I listened to the audiobook, and
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, so on Audible, and I just think it's dope, man, how they mix all those characters in, and you can kind of see how the different characters fell in line in terms of leadership and ability and stuff like that. Like Doom, Doom was a badass in that. Galactus,
right.
Just dope, man. Spider-Man and what he does, what he brings to the table, and I just Secret Wars may be my favorite little sub story or top. One of the top ones for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. If anybody wonders what I've been doing over here, I've been taking the last few photos for my review because I didn't get around to them yet. So I got my little studio here, and I've just been taking shots as we go. Oh, a rarity for me. Studio Series Last Night Hot Rod. Okay. I'm not usually a Baybot guy, but Hot Rod's my favorite, so I decided to pick this one up. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a good looking figure.
Yeah.
I just got Tarn and Leo Prime yesterday. So.
Yeah. I haven't grabbed those yet. I take, when a lot of new releases come out at once, I kind of just go slowly through them.
The only reason I got these because I thought they were a good price. I thought that Tarn would be what is the Commander class?
Yeah.
I thought he would be, because he's kind of a big bot to be like a deluxe, Leo too.
Well, you know what I wonder? Let me get the figure I'm thinking of here. They did a Flame Toys did a action figure model kit of the version of Megatron from More Than Meets the Eye, which is the story where Tarn is originally from, and he's a bit taller than a deluxe, a bit smaller than a Voyager. So I wonder if the new Tarn would scale well with him specifically, because they were on opposite sides by the time the things really hit the fan. So they directly fought each other too. So
yeah, see, I need to get into that story. I have so much work to do. I really want to be more versed, and I have a friend. Actually, Spare, you should meet him. He's a local guy here in DC. His Instagram name is what's his Instagram name? Night Train 357 is his name, right? And he's an artist, a huge Transformers guy, right? And me and him was talking, and he ranked his favorite series in the Transformers universe, and he's a G1 guy as well, right?
Okay.
So he said that Transformers Prime was number 1, Beast Wars number 2, and G1 was number 3 for him. And this is a guy I respect his opinion, right? So I said I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna give these other things a try and not be get off my lawn guy, right?
Yeah.
So I watched a couple of episodes of Prime. I'm like, damn, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. I like the Armada.
And I'm like, I don't even. I think the first season is like the weakest season, so it's like uphill from there. Second and third seasons are where things get like even better. So
yeah, he was telling me. I don't know if it was Armada or Prime. He was saying that they connected the G1 series by Ghost Starscream. Oh, that was Beast Wars. I'm sorry.
yeah, it was Beast Wars.
Yeah, they connected him. I'm like, really? See, that kind of stuff interests me. So now I want to see it. You know. So that's pretty cool. And Starscream was being Starscream and live. So I want to see all that kind of stuff. You know.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start that journey.
Let me catch
That's
up
good.
on the comments. So Kaden on YouTube says, "Do y'all think there should be a Transformers crossover with GI Joe since they're both owned by Hasbro?"
Yeah. I'm going to assume that he means like as a movie because there have been like
Plenty of figures.
Yeah, there have been many comic crossovers. To Marvel, there were 2 of them in Marvel, and Dreamwave and Devil's Due both did them. IDW did a bunch of them. That's been thoroughly done many times in comics. Now, as a movie, that might not be a bad idea because, no disrespect to G.I. Joe, but they've tried a couple times now to get a movie universe going, and at both times it kind of hasn't taken off. So maybe they should.
Though.
Yeah, I mean, the first attempt got 2 movies out, but then that second one didn't do well, and Snake Eyes doesn't seem to have gone anywhere.
Okay.
So maybe they should.
You're not talking about you're talking about the live action stuff, right?
Yeah, the live action ones.
Yeah, it just went.
Yeah. So I'm like, why not do a Transformers crossover? It maybe attaching themselves to that will help them like be successul. There's more than enough comics.
Joe has a following though. They have a huge following.
Yeah.
They do. And I get like I'm not a crossover guy. Like like the Back to the Future action figure that came out, or the Top Gun one and the Ghostbusters. I'm talking about the action figures.
Right.
I'm just not, or the Jurassic Park one. I'm just not into it, man.
I think there was an X-Men one too.
Yeah, actually I got
Blackbird.
that because Target had a sale. It was like $13.
Ooh,
I bought
okay.
it, and I'm like, I don't want this. And I'm an X-Men guy.
The one crossover that I got, I actually have right here. It's the DeLorean that changes into a gigawatt.
That's his name.
It's the only one I got. Yeah, it is very good. It's also the only one that I was interested in because also it doesn't cost as much as the other ones, and it just looked really good. And it just turned out great.
It just didn't do it for me. So I said all that to say this. I did get the Megatron tank, his tank.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did get that. It came with the Baroness, and because growing up, so my top 2 shows growing up was Transformers 1 by far, and G.I. Joe was second to me, and then whatever else kind of fell in behind those. So I do like G.I. Joe, and I think that they could do better movie, just with better actors. So, I mean, just you get good, you get decent actors in there. They're gonna make the movie. The storyline is what it is.
Well, I think, or actually, let me go through some more of the comments and then jump back into this. Caden says, "I've watched Spider-Man: No Way Home and Far From Home, but I've not watched Homecoming." And
The first one.
Yeah. But you know what happens? I mean, I'm looking forward to Ant-Man 3. I still haven't watched 1 or 2 yet. Steven, welcome, Steven. And he says there was a new Avengers and Transformers crossover book in mid-2000s.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a IDW did it, and it was sort of like a
wow.
It was one of those stories where like the Marvel people never brought it up, and the Transformers people never brought it up, even though it was their shared universe. So,
wow.
It didn't get a great reception, but the part about it that was funny was John Barber, who was like the editor-in-chief and story runner of IDW, years later, people would ask him, so if there were Marvel superheroes running around in your Transformers comics, where were they when Megatron invaded Earth? Because that happened later. He was like,
Shield?
oh, yeah. And John Barber just half jokingly in a tweet was like, when Megatron invaded New York, they all got killed. The end.
Wow.
But it was just because he didn't have the rights to use them outside of that crossover, so they just never appeared again.
Because I mean, it'd be interesting to see a Hulkbuster versus like Ironhide or something.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, you know what? Remember, there are no comics right now. IDW doesn't have the license anymore, and we don't know who has it next. Maybe it'll be Marvel. Maybe Marvel will get the Transformers license.
No one has the Transformers license to do anything right now.
IDW it just ended its run of comics this year. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, they've been doing it since like 2004, so they had a long run of titles.
Mm-hmm.
But like it looks like we're not totally sure whether it was like they didn't renew it or like it got revoked or just whatever. But like, so it's just out there right now, and nobody's doing comics because the license. We don't know who's getting it next. There's been some rumors that Skybound, which is like a subsidiary of Image Comics, might get it. Some people are like, "What if Marvel gets it? Can we?"
That's surprising to me because this Rise of the Beast is going to probably do well.
Yeah,
so the hype will be there for the franchise. So it's from there to for interest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and IDW. Yeah, IDW did a new Beast Wars comic right near the end, but because it got canceled, I think it only got like 12 issues out before they had to end it. But they obviously made that because they were like, we got a movie coming up. Let's put a Beast Wars comic out there. So we almost had a tie-in, but like it had to end first, which is a shame because it was really good. I mourned the fact that it ended because they really understood like what made that show work. So.
So Steven also mentions New Avengers being the Avengers team that brought Spider-Man, Wolverine, street level characters like Daredevil and Luke Cage.
Yeah. It was just Doctor Doom was in that. They went to Latveria. There was an implication at the end that Ramjet might have scanned the Quinjet and been in disguise as that, but then they never followed up on that because they're like, we don't have the rights to keep doing this.
Wow. Caden says Secret Wars comes out in 2026, according to
Jesus.
Wikipedia.
Wow.
The way they roadmap these.
I thought they announced it this year, like at San Diego Comic-Con or somewhere, like one of the major. They did a whole presentation. They mentioned 2 movies, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
Kang the Conqueror and Secret Wars, I thought. Or was it Iron? It might have been Iron Man, something Iron Man. The something stories of Iron Man. But I thought it was Secret Wars. I could be wrong.
Well, you know what? I would say, I mean, what you were saying earlier in terms of if they get good actors for a movie, it usually depends on the writing, because sometimes you could have like an amazing actor, but you give them bad writing.
That's true.
It's like you'll notice that actor just never ever mentions like that they were even in such a movie.
Right.
Whereas like I found with the MCU, they brought the writing style of comic books where, unfortunately, with the Transformers movies that we've had, I find they barely can tell one story properly. Whereas like you look at the 86 movie, there's at least 5 or 6 stories all interchange, like all happening at once that tie in together. Then you look at the MCU, there's like 20 different stories all happening until they tie in together.
Right.
Yeah, I think a lot about Bob Budiansky, the original Transformers writer at Marvel. He saw the Bumblebee movie and he said one of the reasons he liked it was it reminded him of what he was trying to do with his early Transformers stories. That the first issue ends with Bumblebee unconscious in Buster Witwicky's garage, so like it's literally the same setup. The first issue ends with Bumblebee. Oh, I'm getting mad echo. I'm hearing myself.
Yeah, it was a delay.
So it's literally the same setup.
Welcome, Toy Warp.
Hello, Toy Warp Vintage Reviews in your cool purple landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Is the echo any better, guys?
Let me say something and see. Yep, not getting an echo. Yeah, it wasn't even so much the fact that there was an echo, so much that there was a delayed echo. But the point is, it's gone now, so it can't hurt us anymore.
Is your dog drinking water?
That is a thirsty dog.
He's guzzling water. So.
Yeah. Well, a couple more comments. Steven on YouTube says, with regards to Beast Wars 2, it has a lot of sub-factions like G1, example aerial bots and stunticons, and a tight core class like Beast Wars and Prime. So it itches both schools of characterization.
Yeah, I do need to watch that like properly. This is like lighting a fire under me, because it's funny because I've never watched it, but because I was on the internet and people talk about it, I knew about it for a long time. So I'm like, yeah, I know about the little side factions and everything. They had a new version of the Seacons. They had Insecticons that were good guys instead of bad guys. They had a Magnaboss and Tripredacus. It was a really interesting setup of characters because it was some new people, and it was also a bunch of random Beast Wars characters that weren't on the main show. They got to appear there.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely need to catch up with Beast Wars. To be honest with you, I love this Leo Prime character.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about Beast Wars to understand how he fits in with Optimus Primal and is it like a succession type deal, kind of like Rodimus to Rodimus? Or I have no idea. So
it was one of those things that the show didn't make clear at first, but Beast Wars, it's called Beast Wars Second because I guess that's what it is in Japanese. It is like a sequel. It's supposed to happen generations after even Beast Wars happens. Because Beast Wars Second got a movie that only came out in Japan, because an anime movie. And they crossed it over and they brought in Optimus Primal from Beast Wars. And they talked about pulling him from the past, and he's a legendary guy to them. So they got to team up to beat the movie bad guy and stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Beast Wars Second is like a sequel to Beast Wars.
Fair enough. Don't figure though.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, nobody's seen that show. Nobody knows who he is. Leo Prime is popular because he looks cool, basically, right?
Yeah, again, I think we mentioned this last week, but Hasbro just has proven to me what they can do. If they really want to, if they wanted to, the Wolf. I love the whole warforcybertron. Every line within it has just been great for me. So those are the only Voyagers I have. Again, I'm an MP guy more than anything.
Yeah.
And Legends and MP. I didn't really mess with Voyagers too tough.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. The Masterpiece Leo Prime. I can't comment on this, but I remember hearing that he was legendarily not very good.
I've never seen him.
Yeah.
Who made?
I was a Takara release. Takara did a Masterpiece Leo Prime, and it was very, very weird looking.
I've never seen it.
Let me see if I can find it. Masterpiece Leo.
I know they did Megatron and Optimus Prime. Well, I see those.
Yeah, there it is. That is his lion mode from the side, and let me blow that up. It's a little pixely, but you get the idea. It's notoriously not good. Really, really covered in parts.
Yeah, that's very compartmentalized.
Yeah,
good looking, pretty good.
Yeah, that was good looking robot mode, but the beast mode was just absolutely sacrificed for the robot mode.
Wow.
There's a that's more of a flattering angle.
Yeah, I was about to say you had to rock the right angles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the opinion seems to be that the Legacy one is technically better than the Masterpiece because it doesn't have such a messy lion mode. Oh yeah.
Unless that was like an early release. I don't know. What year did that come out? Does it say?
Oh, this is recent. This was a couple years ago.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because you know why I asked? If you look at the MP11 modes of the Masterpiece and you look at the MP52, I mean, it
Yeah.
advanced so I mean, they're so different, you know?
Yeah.
The MP11
I'm just checking the
definitely
year. Yeah, came out in 2020.
Wow. It must
There's
didn't get
the
much hype.
Wiki's
I don't
image of
remember people talking about it too tough.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's because it didn't look very good.
Yeah. I mean, the bot mode looks pretty good, though. Just
Yeah,
from what I see, it looks pretty good. But yeah, even
it's
the
definitely-
picture of the lion kind of posing with the guns, the top right one, yeah, that looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, look at
So-
the back mid section. It's kind of popped up.
Mhm. That
Yeah, that
looks
pretty
funny.
Yeah, that's not the standard for today. They've come so far nowadays. Nah. And how much was this guy? I'm sure he was what, $300 or something.
Yeah, like whatever the normal Masterpiece price is. He was like the same size roughly as Optimus Primal. So whatever that guy went for. Yeah.
Ooh.
Actually,
sure.
Megatron was much more expensive than Optimus Primal. I do remember that. I didn't get
Yeah.
either one, though.
So Caden says Bob Budiansky likes 2007 move, I guess, more, and thinks that Transformers and humans interaction are the same of his stories. And he was also a fan of
A fan.
Oh,
It was probably
boy.
a Bumblebee, though he wouldn't comment on the other 4 films.
Yeah. Yeah, like I saw him at a TFCon one year, and he was talking about that. He said the only thing he would have changed was he wanted a credit that said Bumblebee created by Bob Budiansky, because show him an image of Beast Wars Inferno. Why? I mean, sure, but like,
But at least he's not asking for an image of anything else that would get us YouTube coming after us.
you're lucky I have the Transformers wiki open. Talking about this guy, the Mad Fire Ant. So no relation to.
Wow, what's up with the
He was
face?
a guy.
He's an Autobot?
Yeah, he's freaky looking. He's a Predacon,
like-
a Decepticon, one of the bad guys.
Oh, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the face of a good guy.
Yeah. He just got a new Legacy figure, which is really good looking. So let me find the image. There we go.
So he's Inferno, like the Inferno we know from G1, and he just switched.
No, it's just a case of having the same name. A lot of Beast Wars characters were like that. They were like, I also have the name of this old character, but it's unrelated.
I saw Scorponok. I saw Skywarp, but he was like a flying bug or something.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, they share names with the old guys, but like it's meant to be generations later, so they just happen to have the same name.
I think they could have been more original. It's almost like they couldn't think of new names or something. They couldn't, I don't know.
Yeah. As I said to Children of Primus, that's us as a collective, yes. Leo Prime is badass as he held his own in a one-on-one fight with God Neptune, the Seacon combiner. Rewatched episode 25 after telling Children of Primus about it earlier today. So this is why I need to watch that. I hear it's pretty great.
Yeah, I think I've seen that clip on Facebook where he took on that combiner.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was Leo Prime at the time. I saw it a while ago, but I do remember that was on one of the Facebook, I think on the G1 Facebook group. And that was a badass scene. Wow. Pretty good scene.
And for reference, God Neptune is pretty much just Piranacon, but white instead of blue. It's just a repainted version of him. So yeah, just took Piranacon on one-on-one.
Any bot that could take a combiner on one-on-one is pretty a badass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, basically.
So welcome, Stephen, because we did have the conversation earlier on Facebook, and it started off where he was kind of commenting on our previous stream of Love It or Hate It in terms of toys or characters. And initially he said the 2 bots that are totally one or the other are G1 Prowl, the toy, and then Beast Wars 2 Leo Convoy, the character. And then that's when I asked, well, what's what series did you watch Leo Convoy? And he sent the link in terms of like where to watch these series. And he also says Beast Wars 2 and Neo, both on YouTube, both feature Leo Convoy as a main character throughout. Neo only as a returning character towards the end. And features him taking on the Decepticons combiner God Neptune one-on-one and winning. And he also teams up with Primal and Beast Wars 2. And he's also said he's arguably his favorite Prime / Convoy.
Yeah. For reference to any viewers that might not know, Optimus Prime is just called Convoy in Japan. So a lot of these characters have Japanese names that use Convoy in some way instead of Prime. So, he's called Leo Convoy in Japan and Leo Prime in the US.
Yeah, the Takara Masterpiece releases always say Convoy on them.
Yeah.
Trailers anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So after when I was asking Steven in terms of going into more details of Leo Prime, and Anthony was kind of in the conversation as well. Anthony did ask me to ask Steven, where does the hate come from towards Leo Prime, Leo Convoy? And his answer is, G1 and whiners being G1 and whiners, and U.S. Beast Wars fans only, or in one word, ignorance. And I see it both ways where, I mean, even Johnny, you kind of said it yourself. And at times I've been that way where it's like, I grew up with G1 and it's like, well, here's this other cartoon. I'm not interested,
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I have a nostalgic emotional connection to G1 characters, and by that being the case, I had natural blockers up for anything that didn't look like what I knew and what I grew attached to.
Right.
But now I'm open. I'm 1000% open to other things, and that's what I'm doing now. And then I'll reassess how I feel about all the different lines, and definitely going to be open to that.
And I would say as well, I guess it could all depend on what kind of marketing that the Hasbro did and everything. Because I know growing up, only very few people knew that Transformers even had a comic book.
Right.
And that's being within a big city, whereas like say someone who lives outside the city, who doesn't have access to that friend who goes and gets VHS tapes from Chinatown. I was fortunate to know of like the Japanese series growing up, and then also growing up from like Voltron, Grandizer, and everything before. But for a generation that didn't see any of that stuff or that connection, then you throw them Leo Prime and Master Force and certain things, and they're like, oh, what is this? Like, we just naturally hate it. We don't know what it is. Not realizing some of the stuff existed from like 88, 87.
Right. Yeah, I'm honestly, I grew up in a big city here in Washington, D.C., and I knew nothing about the whole Japanese anything of that. I learned about all that later on as an adult, and really, honestly, up until like recently, the last few years, did I really even give it, the proper attention that I think it deserves? If you want to be, fully in the know, just about Transformers as a whole, and be able to discuss certain things from a place of knowledge, and not just because you know something and just hear someone say things, but from firsthand knowledge, So that again, that's exactly what I'm trying to do now. Because again, that Leo Prime, I think he looks dope. So do you remember Coming to America, the father? Coming to America, when he came to the States and he had the lion on his shoulder.
Oh yeah, it is kind of like that,
right?
So imagine a dub of Beast Wars 2nd that they never produced, where James Earl Jones voices Leo Prime.
That would be
he'd be a good choice.
For sure.
He's so well known for playing a cinematic villain. Let's have him play like a well-known hero.
Yeah, the cinematic villain. I think it's much bigger.
Yeah, pretty much the one.
Yeah.
So
as far as the masses, all the masses knows that guy and that voice, So
Steven says for the loyalty, and also says Pain is my friend. Allow me to introduce you to it.
Yeah, he's quoting lines from Beast Wars Inferno, who he was a fun bad guy because he was like unhinged. So he would say those were both lines of his. So he changes into an ant, right? And the thing is, he thinks he's an ant, and that the Predacon base is his colony, and he has to defend it. So that's why he's always like, for the royalty, you know, because he thinks Megatron is the queen of the colony, and that annoys Megatron because he's like, you know, stop calling me that.
So Cruiser's Motorsport on YouTube says, and I guess in terms of answering why Beast Wars was would take on like, you know, existing names instead of new ones, and it's like more like they didn't want to pay to get the rights to any more names.
Yeah, I mean that's always been a thing. Our friend seems to have frozen, so we're just gonna.
Yeah, he'll be back in a moment.
Yeah, but that's nothing new. They did that a lot in the 2000s as well. If you don't use the names, you run the risk of losing them. So that's why that probably had something to do with why they're like Inferno and all those other names popped up again. Because I'm like, you know, you got to use the names or else the rights to them might go away.
Thanks.
Really famously, the reason Bumblebee didn't appear for a long time after like the 90s was because they didn't have the rights to the name anymore.
Oh, there we go.
You're back.
Yeah, I don't know why that's happening.
Yeah. But yeah, they didn't have the rights to Bumblebee for a long time. So that's why like Hot Shot existed and stuff, because they're like, we can't call anything Bumblebee, so we need new characters. It was only like Paramount and Michael Bay money with a movie coming in that let them like get the name back.
Steven says, I believe Black Leo Convoy was the OG Nemesis / Scourge.
That's true. There's a Transformers the Basics video about it. That was the first dark colored evil duplicate before like Nemesis Prime or Scourge or anything.
Oh, you
know,
really?
Johnny, says Professor D, you're not the first dude to have your name either. Guess your creators were as lazy as Infernos.
What? Really? Someone else had my name?
They're saying lots of other people had your name, so that's not original either.
Oh, I get what you're saying. This is true. I have probably the most common name in existence.
Well, same here. Myself being Michael, it's like, you know, like everyone has that name.
Yeah, I think we're top 3 probably, me and you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I went to elementary school with 4 different Michaels. Everybody just called each other they were just their last names. That's what we just called them.
Yeah, I grew up with that as well. Well, yeah, correction to what Steven said earlier, because on Facebook he did say Growl and not Prowl. And Growl is one of the Micromasters.
Oh, I read it as Prowl. I'm like, really? I didn't think Prowl was that polarizing. But
yeah, what's the last 2 years I've been working through the Japanese Transformers cartoons. Yeah, I should do that because it's a hole in my knowledge there. I saw the G1 sequels, but I never saw the Beast Wars ones because they didn't exist. They weren't subtitled until recently, like I said at the start of the show. Literally a couple of years ago, the first time somebody actually got around to translating them properly. On Optimus Primal versus Leo Prime. Optimus is very naturally fatherly to the Autobots in the G1 cartoon, but he wasn't born and raised a warrior, having been born in peace. Meanwhile, Leo Prime is a warrior born and raised, yet. Despite that, he is even more protective of all life than OP, and he had to deal with being uncomfortable with being a legit asexual reproduction father. Let me explain that. I haven't seen the show, but he did have a son called Leo Jr. that was created from a stasis pod, like accidentally. I don't know if I'd have phrased it that way, but that's basically correct.
Okay.
Wow.
I've heard of the character, so I didn't understand the association.
Yeah, it's one of the 3 robots that makes up Magnaboss is also a line. Name's Leo Jr. So
sexuality in Transformers was always a weird topic.
Yeah.
Female bots and all that was always weird. You know, you want to have representation of everybody in society, right? You would want
Yeah.
a representation because it was always like a rumor that Trax was gay, right?
Yeah.
He came off as being kind of gay. So I mean, you know.
I think my fiance Jess, I was talking to her about this once, and she phrased it in a way that makes the whole concept make sense. He said, "The Transformers are asexual, but they are not aromantic." And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. That explains it.
Mm-hmm.
the wherever they come from, sometimes it's the Allspark, sometimes it's the planet's core, sometimes it's the Matrix. That's how they reproduce, but they have romance, so whatever.
Yeah, they have little relationships that happen, kind of don't know where they go. And and not for nothing, RC was a warrior, right? That was her classification.
Mm-hmm.
She was very feminine, had a lot of feminine energy, the lipstick, high heels, the feminine shape.
I always
and she
call this
played womanly
a Barbie's
roles.
dream car.
Yeah.
Yeah. That looks like a space age Barbie Corvette.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that the sexuality of the bots and the whole what is it called, the mass, the fact that Megatron can go from a 38 caliber pistol to one of the largest non-combiner robots. That what is it?
Mass shifting.
Mass shifting. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like another thing. Same thing with Soundwave. This little Walkman. Remember how small Walkmans were?
Yes.
He's a big, gigantic robot.
So Steven says Leo Prime's son being his split spark in Leo Jr., aka the line from Magnaboss. And on reused names, hell, my dad had a first cousin who was named Steven, and his son was also named Steven.
I'm the third. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a cousin with the same name as me, and this was like, they know about me. They made that choice on purpose. So I was born first. I mean, cousin? Yeah, cousin.
Are they combiners in Beast Wars?
Not in the original series. Beast Wars 2nd has some combiners there. The new Seacons and Magnaboss and Tripredacus. In the US, they made those figures came out here, but they weren't on the show. They just didn't. Japan, when they made the animes, decided to use them on that show.
Would the Predacons fit into Beast Wars, or they wouldn't really fit?
Nah. Well, I mean, this is one of those things where the explanation varies based on universe, but the Predacons are the name of the bad guys in Beast Wars, the descendants of the Decepticons. So people are like, oh, are they descended from the original Predacons? Is that where they got the name? Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes it's just a coincidence. Depends on what story you're reading and who you ask.
Or does that go back to licensing, and you could just kind of reuse Predacons?
Yeah, I feel like it was a name they had floating around, and they were like, okay, that's available. Let's put it in there.
Look, we have to pay for maximals, so let's just reuse Predacons.
Yeah.
Balance it out.
And Steven says, oh God, I made Leo Convoy and Leo Jr. sound like KISS players' levels of creep.
Do not talk about KISS players. Never talk about KISS players.
KISS the band?
I don't know KISS players.
I just don't talk about. Actually, you know what? Chris McFeely did it. Transformers: The Basics on it by request from Patreon, and he was like, "All right, I guess somebody's gonna have to do this. It's gonna be me. Just don't talk about KISS players."
I thought you were talking about Gene Simmons or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No.
Okay. One of those things you just don't talk about.
Right.
Yeah, it was a toy line, a manga, and some audio dramas that came out in Japan that are notoriously not. Yeah, don't talk about them.
Okay.
The first rule of KISS players: you don't talk about KISS players.
Yeah, no, straight up. I know some of you were going to go look. Watch the Transformers: The Basics episode if you must know.
I'm going to
That's
we get off. I'm writing it down now.
Yep.
Oh.
Pen,
yeah. Okay. Look, I was in a panel once at TFCon, where a gentleman was like, giving the basics on the Japanese Transformers shows. like going through them, like Armada, Energon, Cybertron, and then he was like, "All right," and the Kiss Players logo came up on the thing, and the entire audience was like, "Ah!"
I'm definitely Googling that.
Mhm.
Wow.
Just don't Google it at work. That's all I'll say.
Jesus. Okay.
So Stephen, also mentioned mass shifting to what you were mentioning earlier, and Armada Scarstream with Thundercracker's colors. And Professor C says Kiss players are awesome. Sorry, I missed the MP versions.
Oh yeah, you would say that, wouldn't you?
And Kanan says, "Oh hell no, not Kiss players. If you watch Chris McFeely."
Yeah, I'm just like, that is the one, because he does a very scholarly version of it that, like, that's the safest way to learn about it. If you got to learn about Kiss players at some time, learn it from Chris McFeely.
So are you guys familiar with this company called Firebird? They're a third-party company, and they make one of their specialties is making like the female bots like Alita One and RC and all that. And they're like made in the anime style with these big huge boobs and butts and all that. It's just like, it's weird, right? And on Facebook, so I bought one and I had it. I'm like, I feel weird having this. Like it didn't fit in with anything, and it was like overly sexual, right? So I ended up selling it. But they have like a group on Facebook dedicated to to Firebird, and I joined it, and it's the creepiest thing. If you join that group and just look at the comments and some of the pictures, this is like, it's way creepy. It's weird and creepy.
No, there's some groups that, I mean, some are a bit borderline, but there are a few ones just like something's not right in terms of what's happening with the toys, and I'm like, yep, I just gotta log off, go about my day.
Like, you ever just decided to turn off your computer and go outside?
Yes, I have. And it gets even worse in the action figure realm with some of those. I follow a guy on Instagram. He does it artfully. Like, he's a very good photographer, very good sharp pictures, good composition. I see the story he's telling, but it's like when naked. It's just,
right.
But that's his niche. He has a following too. He has thousands of followers. So I guess if you're into that.
Well, I mean, as they say, sex sells.
This is true.
Well, a weird way to transition, but I'm just like, I opened my box. I got a retro Starscream here finally.
Nice.
So I was gonna just kind of tear it open while we were talking. This box is huge, by the way. I wasn't expecting it to be this big. It's way bigger than the Hot Rod box, which is over here. Maybe I can find it really quickly. Or not. That's okay. But yeah, this is a big old box. And I'm going to tear it open as we talk.
Is there something Is there something other than Starscream in there?
No, it's just him. It's like, I've just never owned a G1 Seeker before, so it's a new thing for me. Hello, Orlati.
Hey, what's up? Hold on, I got my daughter who's supposed to be inside.
Okay. So let me quickly jump to the comments, and then we'll kind of jump to our main topic. Stephen says on Predacons in the now offline Forge to Fight game, G1 Predacon Tantrum and Beast Wars, Predacons got stat boosts from being together in the same battle party.
Oh.
And Toy Warp is telling Mr. D, behave, Mr. D. D then says, McFeely is prude. If RC showed her headlights, he would blush.
He's trying to be scholarly about it.
Yeah. Anthony, I said, the MP Kiss players.
There's no Masterpiece Kiss players. Not that I know of. And I feel like I have heard about that, if that was a thing. The actual figures were re-releases of the alternators, so with extra stuff.
Okay. Well, Professor D says, well, at least I gave you a good segue to do so.
So this is what this guy looks like once I unbox him. He's amusingly half transformed, got his cone up and everything, and his arms are still folded in.
That's a lot of
those
packaging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I have the original right here. Let me grab that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I never owned one of these, but one of my babysitters that I'd go back to after school when I was really little had a G1 thrust to take a shot that didn't have any accessories, and there. The
There it is.
and he's got the cone up
Gotta
like
keep
mine.
it up or to flip up. This thing is old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. Now I gotta go get my
Nice.
surge.
Yeah.
But it didn't. But yeah, this thrust didn't have any accessories, obviously, because it was already old at that point and was dinged up. That was my experience with it. With the G1 Seeker.
Mike, you meet TF Johnny. Johnny meets Mike.
Oh, I guess I never know who hasn't met who. He's one of the founders.
Well, actually, you know what? We did meet one time. We actually met one time, a very long time ago on Instagram. We're actually, Mike and I were, Spin and I were actually on your show on Instagram that one time.
Was it his show? No, I think it was someone else's.
You sure?
Because that's what Calvin was on. But yeah, it was a different show. But it wasn't Johnny's.
I thought it was. Oh, my apologies. I thought it was yours.
Oh no, I don't have.
Because you literally, he's your evil twin then. Because the other person looked exactly and sounded just like you.
Bro, I have so many doppelgangers.
So you're saying all black guys look alike?
Oh, come on, Mike. Don't do that, Mike.
Wait, which Mike?
Yeah, what's your point, Mike?
Just gonna go back to
John's gonna be like, "What the hell is going on with you? With these two white guys here? These M&Ms."
Yeah, but what's going on with you? Like, you look like you're trying out for WWF. Like this style going on here.
Who, me or you?
You,
bro. Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. It's
Dude, it's been such a long day today. We'll get into it after. So
I'm pulling these parts out of this like body bag here, and I forgot he comes with a G1 Megatron gun.
kill him.
I don't buy painters. My wife just stepped into the hobby room. She's scared to get on camera.
Okay.
She's on the sideline, giggling and looking at the show.
Yeah.
This
So the
is
original
what
didn't
happens
come
when
with
you
it,
have
but,
old
this guy
people have
does.
Oh, it
nothing else
comes
to
with
do.
that. Nice.
Yeah.
That came with the G1 color Starscream.
Yeah. This one right here.
Nice.
This guy's kind of like a Frankenstein of a few different reissues. So he's not the first G1 Starscream to come with a Megatron gun, but they threw him in with this version. I think the biggest reason is they can't re-release Megatron in the US because of gun safety laws. So they pack this guy in with Starscream, and they're like, "Look, there's a Megatron in this line."
No, it's funny.
The miniature one's fine.
In one of the forums somewhere, and it's just recently, someone made a comment saying, well, they understand why G1 Megatron can't get re-released as a gun, but then why are they still allowed to release Shockwave and I think another character as a gun? And everyone's like, well, Shockwave doesn't look like a gun.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a level of abstraction.
He's a fictional.
I got a photo I need to show you guys. There's a figure nicknamed Safety Megatron. There were plans in the mid 2000s when they first did the American Generation 1 reissues to do a Megatron in that line, and they were going to have and try and get around the gun safety laws with him. So they had this idea of working with them to come up with a version that would work, but they had to repaint him so much that they just weren't able to do it. And I'm just stalling while I find the photo. So bear with me here for a second.
But here's the funny part. Any toy gun that you buy today that looks realistic, right, has to have that orange tip.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the Tommy Takara Megatron that I've showed many times already on the show. That transforms into the gun and all that kind of stuff, and it has the orange tip. So I don't understand why they just can't do that now.
I damaged my MP36 taking that orange piece out.
Ooh.
I used pliers on it, and I was too rough, and I damaged the paint.
Yeah, but you could paint it, or you can remove it either or, right? But this shouldn't stop the U.S. from making it.
Well, I think they just want to avoid the legalities because
That's
look at our transit system in recent months where it's like it's just become a circus, a media circus of just all sorts of things happening. You put a toy Megatron in someone's hands,
exactly.
like it's easy in use. So the company's like, I'm not going to be the company to produce that. So whatever happens, it's not coming back on me.
And to that point, my wife's knocking over my figures.
Let me get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here.
Those are ground for divorce, man.
Right. And to that point, so I live in DC, Washington DC in the U.S. And we have crime here like any other major metropolis area in the U.S. So we had a NBA basketball team here that used to be called the Washington Bullets.
Bullets, yep.
Mm-hmm.
So there was pressure from the community here to change the name to something less violent. So they did away with
Wizards,
and they came up with the Wizards. So to the point of the whole gun thing, which is disappointing because Megatron's such a key figure in this world, and we know him.
Mm-hmm.
Us G1 guys know him as that 38 caliber the Walter P38, right?
32.
Hey, put that image up that I have in the queue, because I think that's relevant. So that is Safety Megatron. That is what he would have had to have looked like if he was going to get an American reissue in the 2000s.
Oh, gosh.
They opted to cancel it instead of release it because they were like, well, that doesn't look good.
No.
So and there's a second image here of his full setup. He's got the orange tip and everything. No pictures of his alternate mode, but yeah. That is what he would have to look like to get a reissue these days, at least back in the 2000s, because that's what they came up with, and then they were like, let's not let's just not do a Megatron reissue.
Well, structurally, it's still the OG one figure, right? It's just colors.
Yeah, they just had to color him that way so that he wouldn't be mistaken for a realistic firearm. So that's
wow.
He looks like
the
emoji gun now.
Yeah, basically.
Well,
so quickly, Professor D says, well, alternators were the forerunner to MP, or Lottie will appreciate the extra stuff that came with the figures. Why not pull them up?
I'm not. Don't put that evil on me. I'm not.
Hey,
you look that up yourself if you're so
good
curious. I'm just
Okay,
putting my star screen
called
together.
Added value.
I'm sorry?
I said it's called added value. So anything extra, I'm down with it.
So it is after almost 9:30.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know it just kind of flew by there. So I'm gonna say, now going with the topic, if Transformers were in the Marvel universe, my idea would be if they could take the entire series of Transformers, G1, Beast Wars, anything in the Japanese series, and rewrite it just like how the MCU movies are, and create, on top of better writing, but create backstories for the characters. In a sense, like one idea would be either the entire season 1 is a movie. Then you'd have a movie just focusing on Prime, focusing on Megatron. You could have a movie that just focus on the mini bots, where it's like the movie is just Warpath, Power Glide, Sea Spray, and Cosmos, and whatever they're going through, but it's still within the overall movie, where in a sense Unicron comes in at like movie 20, and that like just like Thanos, like you're building up the entire universe. So
Well, they tried that already with the Beavers, right? Because you saw with the last night, in the horns of Africa there, with Unicron horn popping out.
Yes, but what if it were done well?
Okay, that's been like how many years we've been saying that? Right? They tried that already with Bumblebee the movie, in a sense of the small reboot. That's what we're seeing. The continuation from there, right? So, do you want it with Marvel, or do you want to compare it next to Marvel?
So, sorry, say it with or compare.
Are you okay with your question? I just want to make sure: is it comparing with Marvel, or do you want like Marvel? Like, do you want it in the Marvel universe as well?
In the Marvel universe.
Oh, dude.
Along with okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that'd be crazy. That'd be like friggin' what's it called? There was actually a fan fiction film where, well, not a film, but like an animated, where Optimus Prime versus Iron Man.
Yes, I've seen that.
Who won?
Right. So that could be. Oh, Optimus Prime.
Wait, did he?
Yeah.
Good.
I think so. I mean, it's a. They could almost. I could see a continuation from that fan made movie, but it was done really well in terms of the fight where Optimus almost lost versus Iron Man.
The keyword almost, but he won.
Tell you what, Stark Industries. Man, they some pretty good. He could come up with some pretty good weaponry that can go toe to toe with some of these bots in the Transformers world for sure.
Well, sure. You have the Hawkbuster. Definitely to go with any former Transformer, what's called character, right? So, but go ahead. Sorry, Kelvin, go ahead.
Well, first of all, it won't happen. I'm going to tell you the reason why. You got Cybertronian metal versus the Earth metal, so Iron Man had to get the resources from Cybertron to eat us some parts off the Autobots and Decepticons to make a new armor.
Because that's a storyline.
So some of the stuff that, like even artifacts, it would have to evolve around that too.
I mean, we have,
I was about to say, you have Vibanium, you have, what does Wolverine have again?
Adamantium.
There you go.
Adamantium?
Well, I mean, that's the one drawback of the G1 series, especially in season 1 and 2, they gave those hints of a bigger possible storyline where you look at the Pearl of Bahudin, the Insecticons, and I think one or two other things where these items crash landed on Earth millions of years before like the Autobots and Decepticons crashed on Earth. So there's like these little hints of backstories where what if they found whatever cybernetic metals before, well, I guess not before humans, but someone came across these metals just like in Wakanda. They're secretly building their own military force or anything with equivalent metals to Transformers. So you've got Autobots and Decepticons fighting, thinking, well, we're stronger than humans, not realizing we already possess their metals. So now we can compete against them.
Well, the funny thing is we actually did talk about something like this a while back ago, right? And we're saying that was Unicron and Primus, sorry, they're like gods in a sense, right? And so they could be like one of the original Celestials gods, right? And I think Calvin, you're the one that mentioned about that, right? Saying that they took one part of the universe and Marvel took another part of the universe and somebody else took another part of the universe, right? And if we kind of chop it all up, right? And then we're just kind of putting everything all together now, right? Because if you look at the Celestials, they're basically the same size and height and everything as Unicron or Primus.
Are those
So I was going to say, if you want to go way back to the earliest Marvel stories about Primus and Unicron, they weren't the only gods. They didn't say much about the other ones, but they were like, they were one of many. So that even fits with that lore.
I'm just wondering who are the comps for Primus and Unicron, like in the Marvel, like in I don't know, like I want to say somebody like the the one above all, or who would be like Unicron and Primus's comps?
Well,
Marvel, you know, regular.
there is you're right. There is the one above all, right? But if you look at Galactus, where you're going to about to say, and again, I think Calvin touched upon this as well too from previous, like long time ago. You know, you have Galactus that eats world, and they have Unicron eats worlds as well too, right? And so they could be like, you know, their counterparts in a sense, right? Because you got to remember, right now Marvel is doing the multi-universe with Kang now, right? So now you have the whole Kang storyline, the whole Kang dynasties. And if you read the comics, you know, they're trying to play on the comics, and they're also doing their own little storyline as well too. And so you have all these multi-universes, and you have some universes that have no mutants. You have universes that have mutants and all that kind of stuff. So if you look at, what was it, Doctor Strange number 3, multiverse, right? Madness of multiverse. Who knows? Maybe one of the universes that he went through could have been a universe that had Transformers in it.
The door is open.
And who else can also travel through multi-universes?
Sentinel Prime.
Strange.
Well,
No, Vector Prime.
Thank you.
Vector Prime.
And did he not have? And doesn't the Transformer also have like some kind of group? They're like, you know, Jaw Van Can, what's it called, Jaw Van Dam, whatever. What was his movie? Time Cops. So the Transformers. Yeah, so the Transformers, they have a little group of time travelers that are like, or multi-universe travelers. They're like time cops, and so they want to make sure that everything's in line. So how do we know that those two can be working hand in hand?
Well, see, from what you described, that's basically the Loki series with the TVA. So right there, it's like now we've created a Transformers TV series in between two of the movies.
By the way, here's the fully assembled Starscream. Not to distract for too long. He's got the Megatron gun, and these are spring-loaded missiles, and they are very touchy. They kept flying out. I'm just going to shoot one at the camera.
Oh no! Call the cops! Call the cops! Oh no!
Yeah.
No
I'm like,
time.
I could put my eye out with this. This is strong. Yeah. Hello, Primetime, Stephen Joyce. We're talking about Marvel, and I'm unboxing a G1 figure and shooting its missiles. Oh God, where did it go?
Well, seeing with
with
the Time Cop TV series, that's where you could bring in Gigawatt as one of the characters.
Oh yeah, imagine if they had the rights to do that. I would love to see this guy be in more than just the one comic he was in.
Well, right now they got a crossover with Back to the Future. I seen the comic book today, and it's new, so the door is open to any possibilities now. I just like say, okay, I see what y'all doing. So y'all finally trying to open up the door again to the Marvel Universe. They can do it.
It's been done so many times. The whole multiverse and going back in time, and the whole premise of just that just keeps any character really alive, and just that's like a go-to. And like Mikey or Dan, your name is Dan? Shitty Dan? What is that?
No, Shitty Day Con. I had a really shitty day today, right?
No.
But yeah, he hit it on the head, man. Yeah, that would. I mean, it can happen. We know it can happen. So yeah, they can tie all this stuff together if they want. But it would be kind of weird to have like a bunch of humanoid-like characters like going
pretenders.
Yeah,
GoBots.
Hey,
yeah.
Don't make me start with GoBots.
Hey, well, so I put the question out on Reddit, and someone said, "Bring GoBots into the Marvel Transformers universe."
I say do it because Globotron, I think that was the planet was called. You have to remember, they were actually humans or humanoid before they became GoBots.
I didn't.
Oh, you don't know? Okay, so again, we've touched upon this like a long time ago. So please, when you visit Children of Primus, YouTube videos, YouTube channel. We got a whole bunch of videos, and look at it up, and you're gonna hear me talk about this.
And
So-
rate, comment, and subscribe.
There you go. So the backstory of GoBots is that there were actually humans or humanoids, right? That they got into this mass battle between them and so forth, like among themselves, and they were kind of like destroying the planet. That's why if you look at the planet, it's like half of it was that little round thing connecting the two halves together.
Mhm.
And so in order to survive, what they did is that they transfer their conscience to these robotic figures, right? And so they literally have like storages of their human bodies stored away, so protected and all that kind of stuff. So one day when the war is over, hopefully they can go back to their human bodies, right? But otherwise they're fighting each other.
They really got
in
him on a
robotic
heist somewhere.
I like
Sorry?
that concept.
It's a really good concept, I think,
Mhm.
right? And then we already had a crossover with GoBots and Transformers, because if you look at Megatron Orange,
Origin.
Oranges.
We already saw an orange Megatron.
There you go, right? That's why that's where it came from. If you look at that comic book, there's actually when he's in the ring battling a specific Transformer or robot, it was actually Psykill,
Oh wow.
Let me find that image.
right? And Psykill in that particular arena was actually a pretty good what's that name?
Gladiator.
Thank you. Again, shitty day today.
Mhm.
And apparently, he, defeated him, stabbed him up and kind of stuff like that. You can never know. I've actually proposed this idea again a long time ago that just like in Transformers the movies when they were throwing out all the excess weight out of Astro Train, there it is.
Yeah, poor Cycle just getting stabbed by Megatron.
Yeah.
Definitely Psycho.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, they were getting rid of all that dead weight there out of Astral Train there. I was thinking maybe that, they were throwing all these dead bodies, out in outer space. And then this guy ended up in Globotron. And then there's that scientist that found him and kind of resurrected him. And that's how the whole story started.
Hmm.
Right, with GoBots. I was kind of proposing something like that. But then we also had other crossovers with G.I. Joe as well, right? And
There's been so
can't
many.
be? Who said G.I. Joe can't be in the Marvel universe?
Well,
I was going to say the concept of transferring the conscious minds of humans into a robotic body is Autobot Spike.
Mhm.
So that's a concept they could fully run with bringing the GoBots into the Transformers universe.
So did you guys see the Crasher release? The warforcybertron Crasher? It was a retool of the Mirage. So where are they pulling her from? Just because they own GoBots?
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The rights are
Yep.
complicated, but they basically own GoBots.
Mhm.
It's like Bandai, Hasbro, and Hanna-Barbera each have a piece of it, so it's a little bit tough getting things to happen because of that.
So
Pretty dope figure though. I have it.
Mhm.
Be
So
great.
Steven says on Time Cops, aren't the Omnibots as such the camshaft, downshift, and overdrive?
Yeah, in some versions of the story. And speaking of cool toys, here's the completed Starscream. You basically just assemble him. You barely transform him. You take all his stuff off, do like 2 things, and then put all his stuff back
Ooh.
on in a different sequence.
Missiles are quite long, though.
Yeah,
Definitely
again, it's for safety reasons.
Is that the Walmart
That's what she said.
version?
Yeah, it's a Walmart version.
I have that.
But hey,
In a
remember-
box, right?
Calvin.
yeah.
Don't get mad. Don't be a hater. Don't be a hater.
I
Don't
don't.
get
Hey,
mad.
hey.
Don't get mad.
I mean, it's a
we're
nice looking
we're
box.
box partners, right?
Yeah, it sure
Okay.
is. And Rodimus Prime is coming soon.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
Good art.
In the box.
yep. Don't get mad.
Look right now. Look at Calvin's screen. It's in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
once again, talk
And
about something from last week. The Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron.
Oh wow.
she never came here.
Really?
She never came here at all. Period. We haven't
Oh,
seen her on the
Put that
show.
back. Put that back.
Oh, hey,
Oh
look at that.
wow.
Yeah, I've never seen her in person. Nice.
Trying to
think
get focus.
Her and Mirage and her are going to be dating after.
Yeah, that face
if
is
you-
really pink. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Is she
It's a
smiling?
dope figure though, man. I like it.
Man, we never got them figures up here in Minnesota, bro. They never even showed
I
up.
found that on the page. It was on the page. I said, "Wow."
It sold out on the on the Hasbro Post page too.
Yeah, it did.
As I pointed out with using a G1 Optimus, this is a Diaclone figure. So if you have any Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron guys, you can fit them in the cockpit because they're Diaclone scaled.
Mhm.
Stick our TIE Fighter pilot in there, close that up.
Did it come with stickers as well?
No, because these are painted up to look like the cartoon design as much as possible, so they don't come with any stickers. It's all done by paint. Same with the
So those
hot
are
rod they
tempo.
did.
Those aren't stickers.
Those aren't stickers. It's all painted on.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Tempo. Or tempo.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is larger than I was expecting, and also there's way more metal in it than I was expecting. I mean, I figured it was gonna be. Thought it was gonna be the size of Hot Rod.
The red parts around the nose cone, that's metal.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is all die cast, the red bits.
Mhm.
And
So
same with his. I think his feet are metal too. Are they?
No,
something
just
down
the
here.
just the wheels.
Oh yeah, just the wheels. Yeah, these long guns look kind of doofy, so I might do like most modern Starscream figures do, and just have the same missiles as in his robot mode because I think those look better. Yeah, that's a better look. Just with the null rays. Yeah, there we go.
Steven says, Iceman, my paternal grandpa, in another comment, was from Minnesota.
Iceman. Nice nickname.
Indeed.
And Caden has just returned. What did I miss?
Me rebuilding the Starscream.
He missed the backstory of GoBots. It was very interesting.
Yeah. If anybody here has a chance, it's quite a different comic, but IDW did a GoBots miniseries written by Tom Scioli, the guy that did the most recent Transformers G.I. Joe crossover. It's a weird series. It's a trip. He has a very specific art style that makes it sort of look like retro, like 80s comics. It's not for everybody, but I really enjoyed reading it, and it connects to Transformers. I don't want to say how because I want other people to read it, but the ending of it directly connects them to Transformers. So that exists. It's been created.
I would love to see that on screen. And that's something that, going back to what Spin was saying about, connecting everything together, right? Doesn't Disney own Marvel, right?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Disney. So I know Hasbro, what's called, obviously they own the Transformers, right? But I'm sure they could do a really good working relationship with Disney versus Paramount and have a really good, come up with a really good, story to put all this stuff all together.
Well, they did hinting at that. Have you watched the latest Guardian of the Galaxy holiday special? They did mention, Drax beats up the Psyche fucking costume. So they actually did make a reference to that because they are Marvel products now. The GoBots was bought out. Yes. Yep.
By who? Marvel
Disney.
bought GoBots?
Yeah.
Sorry, Disney bought GoBots?
It's still Marvel.
Hold up, but wait a minute.
But Disney owns everything.
Hold on.
They own everything now.
Hold on. Hasbro sold the property to Disney?
They do exchanges with the contract.
I'd like James Gunn did go on Twitter and said it was more so they asked permission and Hasbro was like, yeah, sure, you can have a GoBot show up.
Okay.
This was in a movie?
Yeah.
No, it's a TV
the
special.
Guardians
It's
of the
it's
Galaxy.
a Christmas special.
Yeah.
Sight Kill was in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a costume, and the dude, he's like, I hate Sight Kill, and he murdered my family.
Yeah. Oh, just what I had on screen was an issue of Tom Scioli's GoBots series. Like you can already see from the cover, it's got like a really distinctive art style.
Ooh,
There's
I like
a random
that.
panel from it. Yeah, like
like
this isn't. It's made to look like a retro comic,
Yeah.
even though this was a couple years ago. Just a random person. Don't worry about Spoons. He won't hurt you. He's cantankerous, but he's no killer.
Spoons. Wow, I forgot about that character.
His Psykill got beat up. Yeah,
Where my money
he
at?
survives. It's Spacey on one of the covers.
Ooh.
Where's Dive
Yeah.
Dive?
Wow.
The submarine GoBot.
I just like they put Roar on the page when Zod came up. Like I said, this comic was kind of offbeat, but like in a fun way.
You know what? I have to admit, the thing that I liked about GoBots is that the way they named their characters.
Yeah.
Very right to the point.
Yeah. There's the cover of the final issue with
Yeah, Scooter.
No!
He was a scooter.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, this is a weird series, but I recommend everybody check it out just because it's so like offbeat and different, and also, hey, it's a new GoBot story from the last couple of years. You don't see those that often, right?
Man. Just
So,
imagine if Unicron gets a hold of him. What would he turn out to be?
Reformatted. Yeah.
Well, hold on. He did get. If you think about the toy line, right? Psykill got reformatted into a black and greenish motorcycle.
Oh, they had a toy release for that too, right?
Yeah.
Because he came in green as well.
Yeah. Well, he came out in his original color, like the blue, red, and white, right? But I actually I have that somewhere. Well, it's in a box in the basement, but he got reformatted into, or the toy in a sense, because not in the cartoon. He got reformatted into a black,
I have. Let me grab him.
red, and green.
So Steven says my high school classmate Dash Shaw did some alternate covers for that and another GoBox comic.
It has to have been that one. Hey, does that mean he has a wiki page?
Ooh.
Let's look up his name.
RJ Eagle says, nice. Please send a link for that GoBot comic book if you get the chance.
Yeah. Dash
RJ,
Shaw. His
what's
name
happening,
pops up
buddy?
a few times.
Yeah.
Spin and I went to school with RJ.
So Dash Shaw drew this cover, this kind of funny retro cover.
Oh, okay.
I like that. That's kind of weird. But like this whole comic was weird on purpose. What else did he draw?
Oh, there's
That's the masterpiece, Psykill.
I like that.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that guy. That's a
Nice.
recent release, eh?
Yeah, it's called Toe Cutter by X Transbots. He's very good. I have the original too, which I can't find on my shelf. I know it's right in front of me. I'm just overlooking them. But yeah, this is dope. I don't know if you're familiar with KFC's the Junkians.
Mm-hmm.
So he's essentially like Brett Gard repainted, and they added the wheels, and you know, pretty good though.
Yeah, it's a good looking take on the character.
Oh, very good.
Dope.
Anthony, can you find the Psykill with the green, black, and the one that I was talking about?
All right, let's see what I can pop up.
Can't believe I can't find it. It's somewhere.
RJ, Mikey, what's happening? The two mics are in the house. There it is. There it is.
The original.
Oh, there it is. That's the original Psykill?
Yeah, but that's the
It's the original, not the green one he was talking about.
yeah.
Okay.
No, but see that? So the thing with GoBots, they did two lines. They had like the smaller ones,
Yep.
and then they had the bigger
Yeah.
the bigger ones, right?
This is the larger one.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm talking
Was it
about.
the small one that got turned green?
Oh, that's sweet. I like that.
The small one got turned. So who knows? Maybe when he was floating in space, Unicron got a hold of him and reformatted it into those colors.
But you know what I thought of when he put the picture up of the gladiator fight between Psykill and Megatron? I was just looking at Megatron as representing the Transformers franchise, and Psykill being the GoBots. It's just because when the Transformers, because GoBots came out first, right?
Yep.
And I was into GoBots, right? And then when Transformers came out, I just totally forgot about GoBots. Didn't care.
Yeah,
you know, that was it.
But the funny,
that's what sort of happened. It was like a running joke for a little while in the Transformers comics that the GoBots characters would always show up as like red shirts or like dead bodies or the nameless characters that would get killed. But like everybody kind of got tired of that, so they don't do that these days.
Bullet fodder.
Yeah. No, but the funny part is when they did that comic book series, I think that's when Transformers or Hasbro had bought the rights to, or like bought GoBots, right? And so that was like the nail in the coffin, saying that, "But you guys are done now. It's over."
They had GoBots as early as the 90s because in Transformers Generation 2, the little line of Hot Wheels sized Transformers they did was called GoBots on purpose because they had the name and they wanted to make sure like it got used immediately.
Yeah, so they don't use the copyrights on that, right? They also IDW also did a comic books with the GoBots, the little tiny GoBots going into the Transformer universe.
You know, I'll give this guy credit here.
Yeah,
you can actually leave a bunch of his parts on when you transform them. You don't have to take everything off. I say unrelated just because this is what I'm doing right now.
Hey,
like
we've been...
It's from the DC universe.
By...
No, hey, look, it's Arrow.
Green Arrow.
I thought it was anonymous infiltrating our show right now.
Bonfire upon Babylon.
Are you Legion?
I am Legion. Yeah, sound like one of them hidden characters from a video game there. I am both Cyclonus and his armada. Oh, snap. We got Darth Vader. Screw that.
He's acting
I am Magmanicus Prime. Hear me transform.
I was like, yeah, we're listening.
That was it. I hope you enjoyed that. I was building up to that climax. That was it. That was what all the Darth Vader impersonation was leading up to.
Is that who we were supposed to be?
I may not be your father, but I can go like this.
Like TF Johnny's like he's looking at us right now, like what the hell did I just get myself into?
Hey, where's Toy Warp Reviews?
Yeah, up in the comments, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he on the show? He came on for a second, and then you started talking about KISS players, and you scared him off. Damn.
That tends to be how it goes. That tends to be the effect they have.
I'm going, guys.
Oladi, do you know what KISS players is?
Oh, here we go.
I don't know, some player that kisses. I don't know.
No, I was.
Hey, look, I thought Gene Simmons. So
Anthony is withholding information from you. He is your source of information, and he is keeping you in blue pill universe.
I'm trying to
pill.
not saddle you with the burden of terrible knowledge. The terrible burden of knowledge.
It's okay, we have open AI GPT thing now, so
what does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. I just feel like saying it.
I was shocked for a second. I'm like, Orlati even knows what GPT-3 is? Like, what universe? Where in the multiverse am I all of a sudden?
I know many things, my friend. I just don't show it.
Do you guys? Hold on. Show of hands. How many of you motherfuckers know what GPT-3 is?
And that's
okay,
hold
two.
on. And
Two
that's
of you guys.
hold on, wait. And that's been where
Well,
you learn that.
well, look. No, hold on. How many of these answers am I surprised with? Okay, a total of one. The three hands that didn't go up, no surprise. The one hand that went up above me, no surprise. The hand over to the other side, that's a little bit of a surprise. Tell us what you know about it, Orlando.
No, hold on. Ask
Yeah.
Ben where he heard it from earlier. Oh, I got food in my mouth, so I shouldn't talk.
Yeah, it's funny. That's the reverse. I learned it from him.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, there you
Mhm.
go. There you go.
I want in. What is it?
Yeah. What is this random combination of letters?
You know what it's called? Actually, the funny part is
It's
So-
the story. I'll let you explain it. But
Yeah.
the story arc, just to put it into terms that these motherfuckers are going to understand, is the rise of Skynet.
yes.
Over to you, Orlati.
So the funny part is that I was telling Spin, one of our shows, what we got to do in the future, we're gonna incorporate that into one of our shows. Sorry, I'm just kind of repeating myself.
Into our shows. What do you mean? We got to incorporate that motherfucking shit into our website.
That too, but I'm saying that what we got
When we get only 50,000 subscribers on Patreon. You heard it here
Hell no.
first, ladies
Yep.
and gentlemen.
we're gonna
January 2023.
Right.
Our commitment to you, the men of children of Primus, guarantee that we will incorporate cutting edge AI technology into the Children of Primus website coming soon. All you got to do is get 50,000 of your closest friends to subscribe to us on Patreon, and Bob's your motherfucking transforming uncle. Over to you,
Yeah.
Orlati.
Yep. Somebody's gonna get fired on Monday. I can just feel it.
Yeah, but
Well,
can-
I don't know.
can you
I
get fired
just
if
don't
you
know how
quit
to
ahead of
follow up
time?
on that. But the whole point was I was thinking to Spin about this, and I was saying we got to incorporate in one of our shows with this open AI where we can ask, what if this happened or that happened, or to rewrite an episode and for example, like with the GoBots, if we can get like Leader One happening to meet Optimus Prime, what would happen between those
Bro,
two?
you got to explain to them what the thing is that you're talking about
I'm-
first, and
yeah,
then
hold
talk
on,
about
I'm
how
trying-
you'll plug it in.
Hold on, I'm trying to keep it, suspenseful. So we keep the the audience engaged, right?
Good idea.
It's like
Good
that,
idea.
that
We gotta keep our millions of viewers on the edge of their seats
exactly.
so they don't tune out.
It's
You
like
need
that.
dispensable
Fucking
music.
Toy Warp Vintage, who
Right.
fucking ditched our ass.
So we got to do like that dramatic pause.
No, you need a Scooby Doo like suspenseful music bed as you're talking.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Right. So
Da, da,
I mean,
da.
hold on, guys. The ideas were getting better and better for a while, and it started to go downhill.
Damn.
yeah, but now we're gonna hold on. But
Uh,
it's done purposely. Now we're gonna we're gonna
Oh, that was the crescendo. Okay, all right, go ahead.
Now,
All right,
now we're
Orlati.
gonna reel them right back in.
All right, hit him with the heavy shit.
All right, so it's an open source program that you can type in whatever ideas that you might have, or how to write. It's basically how can I explain it? It's basically
It's open source artificial
intelligent,
all right, text generation software.
and so you can type in any kind of I can't even pronounce words today, man. You can put in some prompts or cues or parameters that you want to put. Like, for example, like let's just say you have an article that you want to write, Anthony, about, I don't know, your Starscream figure, right?
The article,
And
but
then
you don't want to write the article.
exactly, and then we'll write it for you on your behalf.
But you see, an AI could not accurately express what my opinions are, so I don't think it would be good for that purpose.
Don't be surprised. And I'll leave it at that.
Like the Matrix, they'll plug that thing in the back of your head and kind of, copy your consciousness and know your patterns, your thinking patterns, and
It's getting there. The funny part is there was this other open AI source that actually did like visually the evolution of man or human or humans, right? So it actually started as primates, and then it just went through the years to martyr man, and then after that it just kept on going into the future where now technology is going to be incorporated in us. So we're going to be like cyborgs, and then officially robots. And then after that, we become like strings or wires that we just plug into everything. It's actually pretty cool. It's not cool that we're going to turn into that, but it was actually pretty cool how they did the evolution of it. So it kind of goes back to the whole thing that I was talking about, GoBots, and how the humans transfer their conscious into these robotic figures or robots, right? So it's getting there. And now with Elon Musk, what's that?
Elon Musk?
Musk, whatever. Elon, Ellen, whatever. Well, listen, he's wearing a toupee now, right? So,
like a boss.
Right?
Equivalent exchange. Elon Musk and Elon DeGeneres.
Yeah, there you go. They look alike, man. I don't know.
Those two have clearly degenerated.
Remember, read my title here. Shitty day con, okay? I've been having really such a shitty day today. So now with that whole, what's it called again? That whole link that they want to put like chips into your brains and all that kind of stuff.
Neuralink.
There you go. So it's
don't they have that for some people? Like when they lose their limbs, like they have the prosthetics, so the fake, the something that's linked to the brain.
Yep.
Yeah. No, we might see some of that in our lifetime, though. Yeah, we might see towards the end, maybe, but I think it's coming because I heard they're already trying to do like under.
Hopefully you don't. Hopefully it's towards the end and not after the end, because that would defeat the purpose.
Yeah. Which I wouldn't be here, so I wouldn't care.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Johnny, would you accept? Would you accept if it doesn't matter? This is important. We need to get into Johnny's psyche right now. All right, this is the question, bro. Let's say you get diagnosed tomorrow, hypothetically speaking, terminal cancer. You got 2 days to live. You're calling everybody you know, saying your goodbyes. Doctors can't do nothing for you. Last person on your list to call, the person you look up to the most, but not a close friend. So you call Professor D. You're like, big brother, I got to tell you, I'm passing away. The brother's like, don't worry, I got you. I just got off my Neuralink with my boy Elon Musk, and Elon told me that he's got a program where we can now download your entire consciousness into the Xbox. Now the question is this, Johnny, you only got 3 days to do this. So are you gonna let Professor D, who you've known him as a legend, but you've only met the guy personally, you've known him a couple of days. Now all of a sudden you're gonna let this guy put you in a computer box, and then you're at his mercy for the rest of your life. However, you may outlive everybody on the planet, but you have no mortal existence. Are you going to do it or not?
That was gonna be
I don't know, and I'm at your whim. I mean, you control me.
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be saying I'm going to control you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be telling you,
like my God.
me and my girl Ellen here, we are good people. Our motto is do no evil. So we're just sticking you in a box, and you get to play with unlimited friends. There's some plumber in there who jumps around. There's dragons. There's robots. There's very pretty girls. There's kiss players in the box.
Okay.
So
hold on, wait.
I mean, you're gonna have an incredible life.
It's getting better. It's getting better.
Hold on, wait. Let's hold on. Here's a better example as well.
No, the plumber got me.
I know the plumber. But think about it like this. Going back to our segment here that we're supposed to tie in with the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to be that.
Yeah, there's guys with adamantium skeletons in there. It's cool.
No, but you know that professor from
amazing healing powers.
No, remember Captain America? The professor that was helping.
We all
Red
remember
Skull?
Captain America.
Which professor?
There was a professor that was helping Red Skull. Eventually, what happened is that and then eventually
the little scared guy.
Yeah, and then eventually he was able to download his conscience into a computer.
Yeah.
So, a series of computers.
Correct. Yeah. Right. So.
Well, computers were not that powerful back then, so you needed a couple of them.
Correct. So let's tie it in with the Marvel universe and Transformers universe. So I'm trying to bring it back to the original conversation here until somebody showed up and started going right. So.
Not naming any names, but.
So Johnny, would you do it? Yes or no?
To be able to download my consciousness and physically die off. I mean, I don't know. The thought of living forever sounds good, but would it be good? You know what I mean? And I don't know. Would I just be existing on that current generation of computer or CPU or whatever? Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, you look at somebody like the Dracula stories, like, that's one thing that they always talk about. Like, they're living too long. Some of them. So I don't know if I want to do that. Of course, you would like to stay here as long as you can, but. If I get the big C and that's the way I'm going out, I guess I would. But it's easy to say that now. If I had it, I might have a different point of view.
Yeah. An interesting thing about the whole "are you really going to live on the computer forever" thing is I saw a tweet once where they were like, anybody that thinks their consciousness is going to be preserved on a computer for all eternity has never tried to open a file from 2009 on any modern computer hardware.
Right.
It was something to that equivalent. So, is it really going to be forever, or is it going to be until the company stops supporting that particular version of that software?
We're not talking about Commodore 64 here. Because obviously you're going to get upgraded with whatever current technology is presented at the time.
I mean, it's appealing for sure. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, there's been so many shows like that too. I don't know. I know Westworld has something similar to that. I don't know if you guys watch Westworld, but
yeah,
something similar to that, where you could kind of download consciousness. It's definitely it would definitely be something appealing, but I guess it depends. Right now, I'm early 40s. I don't know. I guess I'm still young in the grand scheme of things, so I guess I would like to be around for a little bit longer. But I don't know. Forever is forever. I don't know.
Well, now let's bring it back to the Transformers in a sense, because this is a Transformer show, right? So if you got to see, and you had Ratchet next to you, and he's gonna download you into if you're into that makeshift robotic that they put together in spare parts.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can cure your C. Would you do that?
I'm open to anything. I'll say that. I am absolutely open to anything, not to ride the fence. But who knows? I don't want to get too into existential and the existence and all that. You know what I'm saying? Taking the spirituality, religious angle out of it. Some people think we're living in a program now. You know what I mean? And life is so, you can't really science has this, the Big Bang and how we came to be and everything, but it's such a mystery, who knows? Thinking about existence in general is mind blowing.
I know. What do you mean? Who knows? I know.
Well, let us know, Baticus.
Well, catch up on the comments. Steven says Stuart Seeger, the guy who did the linking Optimus and Soundwave issue 2 covers of TF Secrets and Lies 2, and I know also. Well, nice. I know also. RJ Eagle says, "Don't forget the Blue Leader 1." And Kaden says, "Yo, got a lot of people here today. Was it a special day for y'all or what?"
No, just a lot of us were available.
Mm-hmm. And RJ Eagle says, "Do you guys remember the G2 line with antique cars like a 34 Ford that had a light-up feature? I think one was called Sizzle, was part of the G2 GoBot Transformers line."
No, those were laser rods. They were part of Generation 2. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to spark. When you rolled them in the corner, they used to spark. Remember
Yeah,
those?
those
They
are
were
the
called
Okay, listen.
Barkbots.
Listen.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but RJ Eagle, big up RJ Eagle, says Professor D Sith Lord in the house. So just completely like randomly, this is the third Star Wars reference someone has made in reference to me today. I was just like I was out on the street, and I'm wearing all black. I got like my big snowsuit on, my jacket, my black mask, my gloves, and then I see like someone has thrown out in the garbage a roll of silver wrap. Like not saran wrap, but like big silver wrap, like that you would use for wrapping presents or something like that, right? So I picked it up. I'm walking around with it, and then somebody's like, "Darth Vader," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You got a lightsaber and everything." And then I came on here. One of you guys was like Darth Vader, and then here we go. So I'm a Sith Lord. So yeah. So definitely. Clearly, the Force is with me. That's, in one way or the other. So big up RJ Eagle. Stephen Bach, I don't know. It doesn't say, where is he? Is he on Facebook?
YouTube.
Yeah,
good question.
What happened to the icon? How come it's not showing up YouTube icon?
Yeah, that's weird. On the side it shows up, in the screen it doesn't.
All right. Anyway, Stephen Bach says, Rat Trap. We're all going to die.
That's what he says.
Anthony, you got to do it in his accent, though. What's the accent?
We're all gonna die.
Well done. You get the job to do our overdub as Rat Trap.
Yeah. I should give that job to Jess. She loves Rat
Johnny. Johnny, we haven't initiated you yet into this segment of the club. Which goes as follows. Which Autobot are you?
Which Autobot?
Mm-hmm.
So not your favorite character, but best matching your personality.
I mean, amongst this group here, where would I fit in?
Right. Obviously, you can't choose. Obviously, you can't choose anybody that one of us already is.
I'm not sure who any of you guys would be, but I think
it should be obvious if you know Transformers. You said you've been doing your research, so obviously you know who I am. You know who Spin is. So how do you get in where you fit in, bro?
Well, hold on, wait a minute. We should tell him who we are. Like,
no, it's more fun. He has to assume. He has to guess.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he has to guess. Don't tell him, Orlati.
I'm not gonna tell him. I was about to say what you're just saying right now. First, you're telling him what is he, and then who are. Okay, so guess us first.
Okay.
Right, and then after that give your.
And I'm coming from a G1 perspective, I guess.
Yeah, it's all G1 here, man.
So
yeah, except for the kid.
Yeah, the kid.
Well, he's G1
Professor
as well.
D, I'm getting I don't know. Like, you see, the last time I was on the show, I was getting, kind of a knowledgeable guy. Now he's going with this other character. He's giving me stars. He's a
motherfucking Sith Lord and shit. Sorry.
Yeah, he's giving me Starscream, Galvatron a little bit today. But the last show, I was getting more of a kind of preceptorish kind of, because he was knowledgeable and, we had a good conversation about parties. I like that. I don't know. He's kind of Decepticon-ish today. So, I mean, I don't know. But if I was to guess each one, I would say, actually, Perceptor may be, is it Anthony?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll give you Perceptor.
Okay.
I will give Spin, he has such a cool, even personality. He's kind of making sure everything's working. He's giving me like, maybe Rodimus. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a level-headed leader. Ultra Magnus, maybe. I don't know. I'll give you Rodimus. Let me see. Calvin, I know him from Instagram. He's another like knowledgeable guy too, but he doesn't take his toys out the box. So,
so which Transformer is that? That's clearly Huffer. Huffer clearly doesn't take his shit out the box.
I'm not going to give him a mini bot. I'm not giving him a mini bot.
No, he's a strong mini bot. It's okay. He's a strong mini bot.
Yeah, that's Braun, right? I don't know. I don't get Braun from him either. Maybe Prowl for Calvin.
Okay.
And for Dacon, I would give him.
No. Mine's shitty Dacon.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It seems like he has a pretty good personality too, like a kind of even kill personality as well, from what I see.
Just today, I'm having a shitty day, man. That's why.
Yeah. Damn, I don't know who to give you. Springer.
Oh, that's good.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Why?
So,
Why? Do I look like Han Solo-ish here?
Yeah, I can see.
You have potential.
Springer works for you.
I mean, I saw you a few minutes ago kind of try to redirect the show, That's something, Springer had his moments of doing that, right?
Trying to hijack shit.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got a lot of moments with these guys, but go ahead.
I mean, I'm the brother, I'm from the neighborhood, So I'm going to give myself either Jazz or Blaster. I would go.
I know Dean's gonna go somewhere with this one.
That's very interesting. Because how he spin. You see how he set it up too, right? Mm-hmm. Like I think he's throwing subliminals at you. Like the motherfucker knows better. Like he's like, oh, Spin is like very cool. He's a jazzy kind of guy. He's very G1. I see him sitting in the chair next to Optimus Prime. Right at the point where Optimus Prime pushed him out the chair, so I think I'm going to give him Ultra Magnus.
Yeah. Get snatched.
Yeah.
That was a shot, son.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but that's the kind of how I see it, though.
Okay. All right. So who are you giving yourself?
I'm gonna go with Blaster, I guess. Blaster or Jazz. I don't know.
Okay, and did you and now who did you say for me? You said Decepticon, but
yeah, I mean I'm being funny, obviously, because you're on one tonight, right? So I'm gonna give you that as for the moment. But as an Autobot, I mean I don't know, Hot Rod-ish maybe. Not Hot Rod. I don't know, or Omega Supreme. How about that? You got a big personality.
There we go.
Big personality.
Okay. I'll give you
all right, so
Omega. Okay, all right.
You're a Titan, bro. You're a Titan.
There we go. I'll take that. I'll take that.
You know his head's gonna get even bigger now.
Wow.
I like Professor.
Oh,
you know what that means. If there's like a battle with another show, you're gonna have to hold the fort down. You're the muscle. You're the guardian.
So you know what? The funny part is you are right. D is Omega Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
Spin, reveal.
Jazz.
Okay.
Anthony, reveal.
Where we going by our logos or by who we say we are? Because I got Perceptor from you guys.
Our logos.
Or my logo is Hot Rod.
Right?
Yeah, because he hasn't seen the logos.
Yeah. Well, if you look at our previous shows on Children of Primus YouTube channel, remember to hit the like button, smash that bell, and leave comments and all that.
Smash that bell. Ring that like button, smash that bell.
Smash the bell, whatever you want to do to it.
Make sure to review all previous episodes.
Exactly. Calvin, well, we don't have one for Calvin, so
yeah. So Calvin's the one we don't actually have a reveal for because we never did this with Calvin either.
Actually, yeah, he does have one.
But we're gonna find out now.
Well, we did do this. No, we did this exact same thing with Calvin, right? I just forgot.
Mm-hmm.
So Calvin, reveal.
Oh, that favorite guy, Dinobot.
Dinobot.
Yep.
Oh, Dinobot from Beast Wars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And
yeah. I remember that now. Yeah.
And I'm Shockwave.
Really?
Yep.
The logical one.
Always.
All right. So therefore, Johnny. So not too bad. So you did good. And even though you ridiculously suggested that Spin was somebody who's totally outside of his character, but at least you mentioned Hot Rod, which is Anthony. So you named the character. You just didn't place him with the right character, or with the right figure. You named the character, didn't place him with the right figure. Anyway, you get a half point. So you don't get to be Jazz. Pick somebody else.
No, he said he's Blaster.
Yeah, I'll be Blaster.
Oh, Blaster. Okay, yeah. No, that's good. That's good. That's good.
It's funny
And-
that Spin picked Jazz though. I think that's funny, but I get the reason why.
No, but you know what? But Spin totally could work as Jazz. He's just, I mean, as Blaster.
No, but hold on.
Because he's a communications guy.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
Jazz-
so-
Okay,
Yeah.
now watch this. RJ Eagle says, okay, can't wait to hear these Transformer personality reveals, which he then says, Spin is Blaster by profession, but personality matches Beachcomber.
I get it.
That's funny.
Spin, do you love animals?
Yes.
All right, well, perfect.
But,
Perfect. Now,
a sound
now
clip
go.
like that has to be, like, it has to be said properly, or else someone could take that a whole different direction. It's the internet.
Long
What do
as there's
you
no
mean?
sea sprays or
I
war
missed it.
paths, you know.
Mhm.
Oh,
The two sides of Spin.
Yep.
Spin does quite a convincing sea spray impression, I'll have you know.
Oh, I gotta
This
hear
is true.
that. Wow.
Yeah, so that's how we're gonna set up this whole Transformer and Marvel universe together right here.
Mm-hmm. Actually,
get
just
back to
before that, Steven says, smash that bell. Raid Shadow Legends till all are one.
Exactly. See, I like this guy.
Squarespace.
And Kaden asks us, what's your favorite horror movie? Mine's Child's Play, aka Chucky, because that was my childhood horror film.
Yeah.
My childhood horror film. Like, everybody needs to have some, what's the horror film that you used to cuddle up with at night when you were a little kid?
I was about to say that.
Like when your mom would tuck you in, just put
Hey,
something
Mom,
on the
you get that-
VCR to help you go to
Yeah.
sleep. Child's Play.
I can tell you, he terrorized me as a youth. Freddy Krueger. He terrorized me. As a youth.
Oh, come
Oh
on.
man, he terrorized me as a child because he got you while you were sleeping.
I can't
But
believe
The
that there's a
Exorcist is
nightmare
number
on
one.
my street.
Oh, my street. I have to
Well,
start. Spin. Give me a line. Give me the line.
Did he go Will Smith on us?
Yep.
Yep.
Give me the, how to start. If you just give me the first line, I can rap the whole verse.
Let me see. What is it?
I
Is there
can't believe it.
something-
He dressed.
Now I got a little
He
story.
dresses like
hell.
every single, and even if it's cold outside, he wears it anyway. He's burned up like a weenie, and his name is Fred. Only remembering random lines, I don't remember the rhymes.
Yeah.
That's impressive, actually.
He wears the same hat and sweater every single day, and even if it's hot outside, he wears it anyway. He's on when I'm sleeping. He shows up when I'm sleeping. I can't believe it is a nightmare on my street. Meow, 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 meow.
So we've done the Halloween episode quite early.
Mhm.
I don't know what to say.
No, the
Batman
Exorcist.
89 gave me nightmares. Stephen
Mine,
Fox.
mine,
Batman
mine was
8
Jason, and I'll tell you why. In Jason #2, when he was squeezing that guy's head, and he squeezes his head, and the next minute the guy's eyes pops out, and then what do you see? The strings. You see the eyes go like this. After that, I was like, oh shit.
But
Why?
none of those movies did it for me. I say the only
Really?
scary movie was for myself was Pet Cemetery, and
Yeah,
Hmm.
I love that
Oh,
movie.
there was
Just Lost
one.
Pet Cemetery. I only saw it.
What about
with-
Omen?
after
Omen.
getting
Oh,
hurt.
you know what? I was about to say that.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, there's one,
Exorcist.
and I don't remember if it's like House on Haunted Hill or the name of it, but basically it's like 7 or 8 different people have to spend a weekend in this house, and the house is haunted. But there's this scene where I guess a videographer is within the crew, and they walk into this room that was an old, kind of like an old insane asylum, and they walk into the empty room. Like with their eyes, they don't see anything in the room, but when he looks on his camera, he sees like all of like these doctors operating on a patient from like the 30s, and then they turn
Damn.
and look at him, and he's seeing this in the camera, and it's the scariest thing. Like that's like the few movies that actually are kind of scary.
Anything has like a religious overtone, like tone to it, kind of thing. That was scary, like how D said the Omen or Exorcist or anything like that. Yeah. Or anything like really like Saw. I can't watch those movies.
The Saw movies?
Yeah, like that
Really?
Saw, that whole Saw trilogy, like they're just cutting each other up and all that. Like I can't watch that. Like that's too much for me.
Oh no.
It's not even scary. It's just like the brutality of it, right? It's like really.
It's the scenarios for those movies to get me, like, you have to make a choice.
Yeah,
But then it's okay if it's robots.
Yeah, because they can be put back together again.
You can't empathize really with a robot.
Unlike Humpty Dumpty.
Unless you're a
Right.
Transformers fan.
Well, he's Gorilla Glue.
Yeah.
That was a sponsor for today, Gorilla Glue. If you have anything that's broken,
I got some right here.
RJ Eagle from somewhere on the internet says Wicked Fresh Prince performance. I agree.
I
That was
concur.
pretty impressive, man. I mean, he dropped some bars from a very old niche song. That was impressive.
They do call me the professor for a reason.
You earned it.
13 Ghosts? Oh, that movie was
That movie
fun
was
because
awful.
it was terrible.
I don't know that one.
Oh, it's from like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's about, family goes to a haunted house and it's like a crazy high-tech thing made of like glass and clockwork. And then there's like 13 ghosts haunting them. I don't know. What's his
Not
face
that
there?
one.
The guy
They caught
from
it,
Scream
no.
who played Shaggy is in it, Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, but they end up catching like ghosts from different things or something. I don't know how what he did. It's like go busting technology or something. So
Yeah.
they just went off of that.
But I like more.
There was these
psychological
glasses
movies
they
like
could
Seven.
wear that let them see the ghosts, and I always thought they looked really silly. So kind of robbed the movie. It's like,
Yeah.
Night Vision.
Ninth Gate is not a horror movie, but it has these but it's got these elements that Orlati that you're talking about and that Stephen
Seven,
Bach
yeah.
is talking about here. Stephen says Midnight Mass played with Christianity and vampirism in interesting ways. So yes, similarly, I think Ninth Gate is a cool film with demonic themes, witchcraft and shit.
So now,
Of those movies that were mentioned, my favorite as a kid was Nightmare on Elm Street. But they were goofy. They're not scary, despite
I liked Alien. I found
yeah.
it here.
However,
Look, there's horror movies which everybody's been mentioning, but what Orlati and I mentioned, Omen, that's a horror film. That's the difference. Is like that's actually a film. Like that shit is scary.
oh, like Child's Play, like like all of us were just laughing in the theater.
Yeah, that's a movie. That's a horror movie,
my
right?
favorite horror film is The Shining, I think. I love
The Shining. Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the classic, right? And Psycho. Is it?
Psycho, Birds, like anything from Alfred Hitchcock was pretty good. I was just mentioning
Norman Bates. Bates with his mom in the attic, right? Like
Mother.
that's a film.
Nobody saw
Yeah.
that coming when they first saw that. Nobody saw that was
Right. Right.
the movie.
Have
Fantastic.
y'all seen a recent one called Barbarian?
Not yet.
Mm-mm.
Oh, Going
No, is
Blind. I had no idea what the heck it was.
Oh yeah.
when I
Okay.
watched it.
Okay. I just
Yeah.
saw like the icon, and I was like, "What is this?" It's not Conan, so I'm not interested. But you're saying it's good.
Yeah, it works better the less you know about it because you
Good, I
genuinely
love
don't
that.
know what the
I
heck's
love-
happening.
The best thing is when you go in seeing a film blind, and then it turns out to be good.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's my favorite kind of recommendation. Watch this film; it's good. I'm not telling you anything about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now take everything we've been talking about. Caden ties it back to Transformers, asking, imagine a Transformers horror game that would be
Oh,
spooky.
game.
That new game Reactivate seems like it could be going along those lines because it's like post-apocalyptic Earth, strange things called the Legion all over the place. Humans just trying to survive. I might not go in that direction, but it seems like it could.
Well, if you look at Unicron, imagine you got to go through Unicron as a planet and try to survive that. And you got characters called Scourge, Cyclonus, Galvatron, right? And they look pretty menacing and evil.
Yeah, and very strong.
Yeah. So instead of the house of horrors, this is the planet of horrors, right? So you could do something like that.
Or the House of Insecticons.
Yeah, and then you
Oh,
have
sweet.
yeah. They just walked away.
Or,
I still hear you.
Let
RJ,
the
he
bug
was-
scared.
that he likes Caden's idea, and also said Smile was disturbing too.
I never heard that one.
Oh,
I never heard that one.
We watched Megan last year. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that.
I just recently heard of that. How was that one?
Yeah, it was okay. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
I was
Okay.
gonna say, I just laughed at that trailer where you got the
Yeah.
doll like,
Yeah. It was,
What is this? What is the Escape miniseries?
oh, Transformers Escape. It was an IDW miniseries from the Brian Ruckley comics there. They just recently did. Yeah, it's about because in that world, Cybertron also has a bunch of like human-sized organic races also living on it, and the war is just starting. So they're trying to get everyone off-world that is like organic because they're like, this is not going to be good for you guys. And then the Insecticon swarm shows up and they're after them. So that's the pitch for that.
Well, you know the funny
Cool.
part is I was actually thinking about Alfred Hitchcock, the birds. Instead of the birds, it'd be like the Insecticons. and all you see like everybody like running away from all the Insecticons, like just like swarming everybody kind of stuff, right? So there you go. So what movie? I here's a real question then. What movie like that you can parody with a Transformer? So like
Parody?
the birds,
The Matrix.
like a parody.
I got
Like,
one.
but do you want a parody or do you want like a remake with Transformers in it?
Yeah, like okay, you know what? That's better. A remake with Transformers. So the birds will be like the Insecticons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
Or like, did we talk about? I think maybe in a previous episode we talked about this. Like, you could do Aliens versus Transformers, like Aliens versus Predacons or something like that, right?
yeah.
Right.
An incredibly obvious one seems like why not mash it up with Fast and Furious, because that's already almost a Transformers movie, but with Michael Bay's aesthetic. So why not in the middle of a car chase have a couple of them?
That would be impossible to parody because those movies are already a parody of each other.
Yeah.
Right. Like one sequel is just a parody of the previous.
Well, Calvin, you sounded like you had an idea.
Yeah, Phantasm.
I don't remember that
The
one.
orbs.
Oh,
I don't know
The-
Phantasm. What's
the
Phantasm?
silver orbs and stuff.
Them little fears.
Mm.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
goodness, they're awesome.
So it's a 70s horror movie. I don't know. It's hard to even explain what the heck it's about. There's a morgue and a scary mortician and these silver spheres that fly at you and burrow into your skull, and I don't know. It's a 70s movie. It's weird. It gets weird.
Okay.
Well, see,
they
that would
made 5 of them.
that would fully fall into Bombshell and the Insecticons.
Oh yeah, Cerebro shells.
Mhm.
I was gonna go back to the Fast and Furious. I will replace Dom with Drift.
Drift the Japanese drift racer. What about the
Yeah.
guy who went to
It'd be
Tokyo?
tracks. Tokyo Drift, right? So
Well,
Yeah.
Tracks,
Drift, Sideswipe,
Yeah.
Sunstreaker,
Streetwise.
Sunscreen.
Red Alert.
Streetwise.
There you go. So
There's been more than
your,
enough sports
there's-
car
there's-
guys that could take something like that. And then you have the Stunticons as the bad guys because they make
There you
race
go.
cars.
So okay, so now that's is done. Now we move on to the next one.
I can see Knight
We
Rider.
got.
He could already okay hair like.
Oh yeah, Knight Rider. That's obvious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He could be Trax, right? He was a Trans Am, right? I think Knight Rider was a Trans. I don't Trax
Yeah,
was
no, he was a Trans Am.
for that.
Yeah,
I don't think they had
Trans
the
Am.
Trans Am that I could think of.
Mm,
Maybe one of the Stunticons.
No, the Wind Charger.
Wind Charger and one of the Omnibots.
He was a
and one of the Micromasters.
And one we've done we did a previous episode on this. I think there's actually 4 of them. So there's Tailgate, who is just a repaint of Wind Charger.
Mhm.
And then and who did you mention? And there's also one of the two. It's either Runamuck or Runabout. It's the white
Right.
one, whichever one is the white one.
Yep.
And then the 4th one is whoever you. And then one of the Omnibots, maybe.
Yep. and one of the Micromasters, the Autobot Micromasters.
The answer is the Microbots. We were wrong about the Omnibots. None of the Omnibots are actually Firebirds.
Oh,
Sorry,
really?
you were saying, Johnny?
Are they cool enough to be Kit though? Those characters?
No.
Mm-mm.
Maybe maybe Tailgate. Tailgate's the best option. And Tailgate, although he doesn't look like it in his alt mode because it's the mini bots were the deformed, so he doesn't really look like a Firebird. But my first car actually, Spin and I drove it around a lot, and we put our Dope Post Society logo on the hood of the car, and it was a white Trans Am.
Nice.
Well, am I not
So it was this car.
That's cool, actually.
Yeah, that's a different version.
Yeah, that's
so when I got the masterpiece version of this, which is by X Transbots.
Yeah, I have it too.
Yeah. So when I got that mold, that was special for me for two reasons. One, because it was my first car represented as a G1 figure, but also the whole idea of masterpiece at the time, and this has regressed a little bit, but the idea of masterpiece was that you had real world accurate vehicle modes. And so it was actually the Firebird that was, the toy version of the car I had, and then the robot mode that was actually the toy robot looking like the robot in the cartoon as opposed to, the G1 toy that we're looking at right here. So it was pretty dope. Caden asks, is that a remold of Gears? The answer is no. It's a remold of Windcharger, as we just said.
Yeah, Anthony was
that's
going
the most
to
Knight
mention
Rider-y
something.
one.
I got another movie. Hound, First Blood. Instead of Rambo,
oh, nice. Yeah.
Hound,
Sorry.
First Blood.
Yeah.
Hound.
Never heard of.
First Blood. Hound.
Are you talking about the character Hound?
Yeah, he's saying him as Rambo.
With Hound.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't work. The personality for Hound doesn't work, but it works because he's a vehicle. He's an army type of
so
dude.
Cliff Jumper's personality, G1 Cliff Jumper's personality might go more with
Rambo. Or Braun.
Yeah.
Or Braun. Yeah, you know what? No. Yeah, because Braun is a military truck anyways, right?
Yeah.
So, so Braun, First Hound. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Braun, First Blood.
Yeah.
That could work. Braun when he's young. Or he's old and he's jaded from the war. He comes back from the war. They fuck with him. He goes.
Exactly. Cybertron of War, right?
I'm not trying to protect Braun from your men. I'm trying to protect your men from Braun.
Wow.
So Steven says, what was the memory surgeon IDW one called? And it could do a horror film with that.
Sunder. I just found a picture of him.
What about One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Galvatron?
Wow.
I like that.
Yep. that works.
Wasn't that already the plot of Web
Clockwork
World?
Orange or Clockwork Orange with Galvatron.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, who was that on the right?
That's Sunder. He's a serial killer.
He looks every bit
sweet. We need those.
So enthusiastic. Yes, we need those.
That's what we need more of in the world. Serial killers.
Look how you just peep around that corner and say, "Come here, we got something for you."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with not being the absolute fan of the Bayverse, there is that one character that actually was pretty badass. The black car that was kind of the bounty hunter.
You to my lockdown?
No, not very gay.
Sorry, Lockdown?
Yeah.
Lockdown.
Yes, yeah. Lockdown would be a cool character to have, as that crazy kind of serial killer character.
So in the IDW world, RC's pretty crazy.
Yep.
She's insane in the IDW world.
She's a fun character.
Yeah.
Where's the?
I say Cup.
I would love
see
to. You see what RG Eagle said?
Now, see,
I could
why
see
can't we
Brian
get this guy in a
sporting the
masterpiece?
headband and a mullet.
I got a good TV show. I got a remake of The Odd Couple, Preceptor and Cup.
Oh gosh, yes.
Not bad. Oscar and Felix.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll replace, Archie Bunker with Pipes.
Oh, Pipes is a good character.
No, Gears. Right?
Yeah, Gears. Yeah, Gears.
Yes.
Okay.
Gears. That's what he meant.
Yeah, I can see that. Let me see.
What about Pacific? What about Pacific Rim? Transformers versus Pacific Rim.
Hold on, wait. Steve, hold on.
It's already
Steve,
basically a Transformers one, especially the second one.
Hold on. Steve here said I actually agree with Steve. Lockdown as the villain in No Country.
You gotta read. You gotta read the comment. You gotta say who it's from, and then read the comment, then comment on the comment.
All right.
Oh, no.
Steve,
Those are the motherfucking rules.
Steve Brock. I can't see where it's from because the icon's gone. So I don't know if it's YouTube. Okay, YouTube. And he's saying here in his comments saying lockdown, that villain in No Country for Old Men could work. Totally agree.
I love that dude, man.
Yeah. Lots of good ones, Steve.
How great was his choice of weapon that freaking prodder in No Country? That thing was I love that movie, man.
Yeah.
Caden says Lockdown is the best Bayverse villain. How about I issue this challenge? It might be the case not just that Lockdown is the best Bayverse villain. Lockdown might be the only good Bayverse character. Period.
Yep.
I never watched any of those movies, so I couldn't tell you.
Like there's if there's any character, there's a character or a figure that you would take from Bayverse and you actually would incorporate it in. We like Transformers would be a better universe if Bayverse didn't exist. But if you were gonna eliminate all of Bayverse but keep one character, I would say Lockdown. And there's also TF Johnny, you probably know there's an amazing third-party figure by Unique Toys of that Lockdown.
Lockdown isn't even from the movies. He was from Transformers Animated originally.
Yep. But the funny thing
is...
well,
there I go, trying to give Bayverse credit for something, and doesn't even deserve credit for that.
Well, you know what? There's one more other villain that I would keep, and that's Sentinel Prime. And
just because Devastator reminds you of your Bulldog doesn't mean it's a good character.
No. I said Sentinel Prime and Dark Side of the Moon.
Wow.
Which I think that's the best Bayverse movie out of all of them.
RJ agrees with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sentinel Prime. Okay.
You know why he's he's a good character, because he was voiced by Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy. Yeah. That was good.
But if you look at his whole story, his whole arc, and everything what he did, it was that was some villainous shit that he did there, right? So
you don't want to be his friend? Is that you do?
No, I definitely want to.
You do want to be his friend? Well,
yeah.
that's.
I would say if Sentinel Prime
you are friends with some sketchy characters if TF Johnny is to be believed.
Man,
one in particular.
One box over.
Not naming any names.
Not naming.
One box over.
wait.
Yeah.
Not the guy that collects his box. The guy next to him.
Let's it. Scapegoat. Olani, let's do it. Let's do it. It was that guy.
No.
Who was that guy? That was sick. That was.
Wow.
You know what? Top of our heads.
Well, Anthony, that didn't work out for you.
I was just about to say, like, freaking. I'm gonna go. I've been up since 5:15 this morning, yo.
Ooh, I am the lead.
Man, Listen. That was probably for the entire run of the show. Listen, Calvin has had a few good comebacks here and there, but that was probably Calvin's best burn, and he didn't say a word. He just disappeared. Like, we both tried to point at him. He's just like, I'm not even here. I'm warping out of here like Skywarp. Anthony, take the hit.
That was very Brady Bunch-esque. You know, the opening credits, everyone's pointing at each other.
Yeah.
Well, that means we're gonna start looking down to the side, whatever.
Exactly.
I'm gonna pull a bill and say I got work in the morning. I'm gonna say goodnight.
No, nobody has to work tomorrow.
Before you go, what do you got for Monday?
My first Bayverse thing in a long time to talk about. Studio Series Hot Rod.
I thought that was Lockdown.
They have the same alt mode, just Hot Rod's the one with a bit of orange.
That's what giving away the orange.
And Unique Toys also makes an awesome third-party hot rod.
Wow.
Very good. I like that.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, gentlemen, talk amongst yourselves.
All right. Have a good night, sir.
We'll see you next week.
All right.
Yeah, I can't believe you haven't seen that movie, man. I can't believe it.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of them. I saw a little bit of the one with Megan, with what's the guy who lost his mind? The guy looks like Justin Timberlake. Him
Shia
and
Buff.
Screams, yeah.
What's his name?
Shia Buff, whatever his name is.
The Buff. Yeah, I saw a little bit of that one, but it's just, again, I told you I had my hang-ups. I have an emotional connection to G1 guys. And that's who they look at. That's the standard for me. But again, I'm stuck.
That's nice, Johnny. We have an emotional connection to you as well.
Yeah. I appreciate it. But look, I am opening my mind to different things to experience it and make another, and then reassess.
Look, Johnny, Anthony is not here. You don't have to keep trying to make him feel good. We're all G1ers at the table.
Yeah, like Beast Wars talk. No, I'm just kidding.
Fuck Beast Wars.
Exactly.
He said, "Fuck Beast
Wars." Hey, man, you better leave Beast Wars alone. I understand you don't like it.
I forgot Calvin is still here.
And technically, you're not a real Transformers knowledgeable person, so I'm just going to be quiet.
I'm sorry. Our time is up, ladies and gentlemen.
No, ain't no time is up. Ain't no time is up.
Hit that M button.
You're not knowledgeable enough of what's going on.
No. Don't hit that M button because fuck Beast War 2, okay?
Yeah, because you guys are not knowledgeable on Transformers. You still stuck in the past. You still stuck on little small stuff. You don't know how to spend your mind on things.
Buddy.
Expand your mind, Craig.
Listen, let me tell you something, Calvin. All I have to say is War
Don't be
Dawn.
stuck in somewhere else, Craig.
War Dawn. There you go. We go back and we go to the future. We do everything, okay? So don't even
that's
go
what they
there
do.
with
They
that
time
crap.
travel, though. That's what they do.
I only like you because we collect boxes, okay?
No, I ain't got nothing to do with boxing. Ain't got nothing to do with that. You do not expand, dude. If you read, it will help you.
Why do I need to read?
Books.
I don't need to read anymore. I got that open AI stuff now.
Cartoons, books, comics. It expands on G1. It's all a part of G1, dude.
I'm gonna check it out. I mean, I'm definitely gonna check it out.
I'm gonna say, why do I have the Autobot logo on my face now?
You're becoming one because you're becoming one with the Matrix.
All I'm gonna
you're
say
being
is
absorbed into Vector Sigma.
It's G1 is number one. We know that already. Then it's Transformer Prime, and then Transformer Animate, and everything.
And you skipped a couple of them right now as we speak.
No, you heard what I said.
You skipped a couple of them. You skipped 4 or 5 of them motherfuckers.
Hey, top 3. G1, Prime, Animated, everything else is shit.
And that's it. That's all you know. It just burnt up. Shit. You burnt up, bro. You burnt up.
I watched, I looked, and I flushed.
Yes, you did.
He gave it a chance.
Did you hear what I said? I looked, I watched, and then I flushed.
I know.
So I did give it a chance.
Did you wash your hands afterwards, at least?
I did.
That's a good thing.
I did. You always gotta wash your hands after. And you can only shake it 3 times. If you shake it a little bit more than 3 times, then we got issues.
All right, listen. Caden says.
You're going
Caden
into
says,
weird waters.
I'm just saying.
Caden says you motherfuckers have overstayed your welcome on YouTube.
Wow.
RJ Eagle says, man, I think Beast Wars is a close second for sure.
Close second,
Steven
like
says,
as,
I
a,
can't
as,
put that
as
on
like
the
a number
screen.
2. Like,
See-
you know, when you say I got to do a number 2, is that what you're talking about? RJ?
See, basically,
Murder
that's what I
Prime.
said.
Yo,
Everybody
Spin,
stop
what are you
watching
doing?
Transformers
Spin, how come you don't have the
over here in
Murder Prime?
America.
You're supposed to be
But
putting the Murder
Japan,
Prime background.
they kept going. In Japan, they just kept going with the series. It ended over here and it kept going. So that's kind of what I meant by it. Because if you're really a G1 fan, you
Murder
will
Prime.
actually watch all the Japanese anime, and it's all connected to G1.
Okay, hold on.
Like I said, I don't understand that people say they're actually G1 fans, but they don't do enough research. They don't watch. They just stop at one point, and that to me is like you're still stuck in the mud.
Listen,
I don't know why you're
Gotta
talking. I don't,
expand.
listen,
Yeah.
TF Johnny already admitted his sins. He said at the opening of the broadcast that he's trying to do more reading, that he's trying to open his mind,
No,
he's
but
trying
no,
he's
it's
trying not to
Johnny.
be such a
It's
stodgy
not
old
Johnny.
man.
It's not just Johnny, bro. You're not listening to what I'm telling you. Don't point off to
I
one
see-
person. No, don't
I
be
saw
doing the
you
point
pointing
fingers.
your finger at Johnny. Okay?
No,
And
it's
you-
not doing that. No. See, that's what you're doing right now. Slip, Lord. You think you slip. You think you slip.
Remember, there's full pointing back at you when you point your finger.
Mine could
Yeah.
go.
But I'm just saying because it didn't stop there. And that's why I said, like, I'm really knowledgeable on some of this stuff because I continue to watch it in Japanese. And it, it's entertaining, it's fun, it's knowledgeable. Then you go read the comic books. You read those. So it never
Calvin
stopped.
turned in
It
Japanese
just kept going.
So look, speaking on the comic books, right? So I just wasted $65. I guess I didn't waste it because I do like Marvel too. So I bought that Marvel Unlimited, the app.
Yeah.
And it's like $60 for a year. And I'm like, well, where's the Transformer section? It's not on
No,
there.
you go to a comic book. No, you go to a comic book store. Stop buying
I'm just
stuff.
saying, like, I'm just saying.
Literally.
Yeah.
You're wasting money. I take your $65.
Wait. Go to a comic book store, get a box of comic books, and then what does Calvin do with them?
You read them.
Wait,
read them. That's the problem. People don't read anymore.
Hold on. Are you reading the
true.
label?
People
or
don't
are you
read
taking
anymore.
them out the box?
People don't read anymore. They steadily going, oh, digital this and computer this.
He wants to know.
We have lost that knowledge, bro.
Calvin. Okay, hold on. Let's stop for a second. People are wondering why Optimus Prime is shooting up all. This is our murder Prime moment section of our video. So just to get Johnny up to speed here. So it is murder Prime. So it's we just go freestyle here. We murder Prime everything. Okay, we kill them all.
Killing them all.
Murder Prime is when you're expressing a very strong, perhaps controversial opinion on the subject of Transformers.
Well, this is not opinion; it's a fact.
Calvin.
Like, literally,
Yeah.
like just like shattered glass. Nobody knew anything about shattered glass
exactly
until the figures came out, and then the comic books came out. And it always been there.
The comic books, yes, they have always been there. Yes, they are part of canon. Yes, they're all that. But what I'm saying to you is that you got a bunch of old folks here that we're all G1ers, and we're always going to say
Oh,
G1's
you
number
old,
one.
bro.
Okay.
I'm 43. What are you talking about?
I'm 46.
I'm
47.
You still read.
Okay.
Read.
All right. We're a bunch of old geezers. Look at the weight. Look. The
You're
weight of
not
my
old.
chin.
You're not old.
I'm going to be 50 in like a month and a week.
So there
That's
you
still
go.
not old.
All right. The whole point is that we're G1ers and we compare everything to G1.
Always. That's just what he's saying is true, Calvin.
No,
Like,
don't use the word G1ers.
By default, you're gonna. That's what I'm. So I'll speak for myself. Everything, the standard is G1 for me. I mean, everything else,
Exactly.
I don't care. I don't care if they do make a more up to date, better cartoon. I mean, War for Cybertron, I guess, was more up to date and better technically, right? Visually. But I have a connection with G1, But again, I'm not opposed to looking at other series because I told you I have a good friend of mine who recommended certain other series. And I'm going to check them out. I'm going to. But I'm a G1 guy. I will always be G1.
Let's be honest. When all of us came out of the movie theater watching Transformer, not Transformer the movie '86, but the Bayverse Transformer. I went, and when I came out, I was upset. Why? The first thing I said, when did Optimus Prime have a mouth? When did this happen? How come this there? How come that? How come this? Whatever the case is, we're all seeing that. Mm-hmm. But then again, yes, Calvin, I agree with what you're saying that we got to be open-minded. Yeah, they're introducing this movie to a whole new generation, so they gotta appeal to them as well, to not just only to us older fans. Right. They gotta appeal to the new to new fans and create new fans. I get all that, but again, everything is. We're going to compare everything to G1, no matter if, what's, or but. Now, when Transformer, why do you think I say Transformer Prime is number 2?
Mm-hmm.
On my list. I like Transformer Prime. They
did you gotta take off this graphic. It's going to give people epilepsy.
Yeah.
Old people.
All right, listen. Sorry. Pause 1 second, Orlati. I just got to say. Stephen Bach on YouTube says, I'm 39, turning 40, and getting hit on by KISS players.
Firebird RC.
Hey,
so speak for yourself, he says. Yeah.
Hey. Yeah. Well, what do you want? The guy is a ring of fire, I guess, here, right? So he's hot.
Ring of fire.
Right. Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't know. Like I said, I've been watching since I was like 6 years old. So, yeah, but yeah, it's crazy.
What I was saying before is that Transformer Prime, had some really good storylines in there. Especially the ending, of season 1, whatever case is. I don't want to ruin it.
Don't tell me.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to ruin it.
I'm like on episode 4.
Right, it's a good storyline. It got a little emotional and stuff like that. Graphics were great as well too, and I liked it. Okay, but again, when I'm watching it, what am I doing? Comparing. Mm-hmm. I'm comparing. And that's what it comes down to, Calvin.
Well, I look for the Easter eggs. I look for those little references to G1. And this is what I've been saying the whole time. Comparison, like it says apples to oranges or apples to apples. You got to look at the Easter eggs. You got to watch carefully because, I didn't like the Bayverse either, but I said, oh, these are Easter eggs. I see the references. Because the looks look kind of buggish. And I hated that shit. I said, what the fuck is this? Now I come to realize, okay, I see what he's doing. He said he want to create his own version of Transformers. And I said, okay, but then you still messing up the G1 fans.
Yeah, well,
there's a difference in the face.
Okay.
Look at RJ's comment.
Yeah. And Bumblebee not able to speak, that was whack.
I agree.
Yeah.
1,000%. So, and with those Bayverse movies, I couldn't distinguish who was who. And I was so excited, man. What was it, 07 when it came out?
Yeah.
The first
one?
Mm-hmm. I was so excited, man. I'm like, wow, it took all these years for them to revitalize this franchise and it's coming out in a movie. I'm like, wow, And then I saw part of it and I was so disappointed, man. I mean, I was thoroughly disappointed. I couldn't get through it. And I said, I'm never seeing them. They were coming out like every other year.
See, here's another point, and I'm going to actually use D as an example, and you made this point too, D. You hated the movie, but you actually liked the figures because it actually showed like a representative of a real Transformer live, like how a Transformer should look like in real life. Am I fair to say that?
Well, no, I like the idea that they would do that, but that wasn't successful. That didn't really successfully happen until the Bumblebee movie, right? The Bumblebee movie is a good representation of that, and the idea that they were going to do that in the original movie, I did like that. And the original movie, the 2007 movie, it doesn't suck. It's you know, all the sequels suck. The 2007 movie's not bad. It's just, you know, on as a standalone movie, as a kids action movie, it's fine. It's just not close enough to the G1 Transformers in any sense other than it's one thing, which is that it's got Peter Cullen's voice. Right. But like the design of all the robots are trash, and Optimus Prime in particular, like it looks like he has ostrich legs. Like it's just terrible robot design. The aesthetic choices are just trash.
And to your point, Professor, like what you're hitting on, like I'm not this guy where Bumblebee has to be a 1960s Beetle, Volkswagen Beetle. I understand that they assimilate to whatever's going on, right? So again, he could have been a Camaro, but as long as he resembled Bumblebee in, you know, facially
in some way,
personality and colors, maybe. I mean, just all those kind of things just took me out of it. Like it's
right,
you know.
They retain nothing. They retain nothing other than the color of the robot and the name, and that's it.
And just to prove or further your point, look at I actually like Dark Side of the Moon because it was pretty gritty, action filled. I like the storyline to a certain degree, but the thing that really stood out to me was that the fact that Optimus Prime, you know, giving his famous speech, and then at the end of his famous speech, he's like, and we're gonna kill them all, and I'm like, what?
Right. That's not Prime. That's not Prime. Like that's the one we grew up with.
Thank you, and there you go. Right, Optimus Prime for me, I'm not gonna talk to the rest of you, but I think you probably will agree, was always like this father figure that we saw on TV.
He was absolutely
right. Mm-hmm. And then when I heard that coming out of his mouth, I was like literally shocked. I was like, wow, kind of like that, but I was like, wow, right. Never like that took me completely surprised. And then he continued that same attitude and what's called Age of Extinction as well too, right? So I was like, they really turned his character into something else that we never grew up with. And going back to what I was saying to Calvin, again, we're always going to use G1 as our measuring stick for everything going forward.
Well, in the comic book, in the original G1 comics, when Optimus came back as a Power Master, he did take on that same attitude, where at one point he was just upset with everything, and every gun and cannon that he had on him, he was shooting at everything in the comics. So you know, there are instances when Optimus just loses it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so we got Cat in here. I've
seen DJ Spinister lose it once or twice as well.
Yeah,
you know, it happens to the best.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe it. Mild-mannered gentlemen.
So, Kate, I don't know if it's Facebook or YouTube here, but he's saying, fun fact, Peter Cullen himself didn't like the line where we will kill them all. See, there you go.
Right, yeah.
And
if you'd like further reference material on that matter, feel free to check out Children of Primus, where I believe we have a segment with Peter Cullen talking about that very fact.
Mm-hmm.
On this very channel.
Didn't he base the voice of Optimus on his brother?
Yeah.
His brother's like a military guy, and you know. So I'm sure he wouldn't want to use his brother's voice into wanting to, you know, mass murder.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So that was part of the reason too.
So we got RJ here again, you know, at Stephen Brogg. I do love those newly introduced characters too. The problem was that some of the reimagining of some of the original characters like Frenzy, Shockwave, no dialogue, Wheeljack.
Okay, all right.
Wheeljack
so,
was Q, right? So.
Okay, so I'll give. I think Stephen and RJ have a point. Maybe in the Bayverse. Not counting Devastator, which definitely is a train wreck. But not counting Devastator.
Devastator had balls, okay?
Fair enough.
Metal balls.
Fair enough. Gotta appreciate that. You know, maybe that's that's something that he maybe like just like they have the third party extensions for RC to give her the soft boobs.
The knockoff version.
Yeah, because MP51 boobs were really saggy.
Right. So no, but you see where I'm going with this, RJ. Like they could do like a third party upgrade for the Devastator. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Let's just get rid of that image from our minds. Okay. Now back to what I was saying. Yeah, RJ and Steven may have a point that maybe Bayverse is trash in terms of the robot designs for all of the Autobots, but the Decepticon designs are actually pretty good.
You know, I can't even. I didn't watch the movies, but what I saw, I didn't.
Well, he just gave a list. Like Spin, you could throw that list back up on the screen there. Steven's, I think it was Steven who listed off like what is it? Blackout.
Oh, there we go.
Bludgeon, Blackout. I don't know who Grinder is. Barricade.
Yeah, the helicopter.
Yeah, that's Blackout.
And who's Bludgeon?
I like Bludgeon in IDW.
Yeah, Bludgeon is a good character.
Wait, Bludgeon is in Bayverse?
Well, I think he was a tank.
No.
I know him from IDW.
But he's assassin too, just like Lockdown.
Well, I know him from the G1 comics.
Yeah.
He's a badass in the IDW world.
The only thing that I liked in last night when Megatron was trying to recruit, you know, his buddies from the humans, because the Autobots, or Optimus Prime was like and the Autobots were considered the bad guys at this point, right? And there was like a funny scene where he's trying to recruit all his Decepticon pals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those designs, then I will agree with Steve in that part, because they look pretty cool, and they had a little bit of a backstory to it, right? I don't know if I guess Spin, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually I think Dark of the Moon, and not last night, but
no, it's the last night where his recruiting when Megatron was reformatted again back into Megatron as the airplane, and he had like that sword axe.
He was an airplane? Megatron? I know
it's
airplane.
It's everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, he was everywhere, man.
Oh, so they did that scene twice, in a sense?
No,
wait.
Calvin knows it. Calvin, you saw it.
Whoa, you talking about the first one?
No, I'm talking about the last night. In the last night, where what's called?
Yeah, he was he got reformatted
back into Megatron, and then that's when he sat down, you know, in the middle of the
make the obligations.
Yeah, and he was negotiating with certain Decepticons to be released so he can go after Optimus Prime.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That part, that scene there, when they showed each Decepticon and their design, yes, then that's where I agree with Steve in that part. Steven was that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to ask you. I mean, did they basically just do the same scene twice? Because I remember that happening in Dark of the Moon.
No.
Oh boy!
I saw the movies. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had to, because in me, it's a Transformers thing, and I was compelled to watch it because Transformers, right? Just like
it's a Transformers thing. You wouldn't understand,
right? I was compelled.
But I'm not gonna lie, that Megatron was dope as fuck. He had a mouthpiece and everything. He was dope as hell.
Yeah.
The airplane Megatron?
Yeah.
Yeah, the jet plane. He was like a jet, like a jet.
So he was like Starscream and all those guys. Same
no,
thing?
he was more like a
stealth.
Like a stealth, but more like outer space kind of spaceship. I don't know if Spin, if you could pull up that image. Megatron last night.
But so was Starscream. Both of them were like weird sort of jet.
Yeah, you talking about that flying Dorito?
No, Starscream was a raptor.
Yep. But when he transformed, he looked like a Dorito.
Yeah.
A Dorito, funny.
But I was like I said, just going back to Steven's comment there, and to Dee's point as well too, right?
Are you saying in the first movie, Starscream turned into an actual jet?
Yeah, an actual Raptor.
Yeah, he was a Raptor.
Raptor 35 or whatever.
Okay. I thought he was also just like a weird space vehicle.
No,
just
that
like
was
Megatron.
That was Megatron, and that.
But when he transformed, he looked like a praying mantis. Have you noticed that too? His features.
I hate that. Like how they look like. I hate that leg. This type of leg thing that they are doing here with the backward calf.
Yep.
It looks like a metal, man.
Like a kangaroo or something.
Look at this thing, man. I mean,
trash.
This is Megatron.
No, it's not Megatron.
Do this again.
Is that his cannon on his arm?
The battle axe. No, yeah, it is a cannon on his arm. And in the movie, he looked at
kids like we were kids who attached themselves to these characters because
that's a cheap version one. There's actually a better looking version.
You need the masterpiece version of them because they got knockoff version of them too.
Is this a toy?
Yeah, that one's the toy.
Yeah, but that's like the one for little kids.
Yep.
You got to look for the Voyager one.
Okay, got it here.
Oh boy, it's about to go down.
And Calvin got it in a box. There it is.
Okay, that does look better. That is better.
There he is in his final form.
That doesn't look that doesn't look like trash. That looks okay, but it doesn't look like our Megatron. But
no, it looks all right. Like looking at
it looks cool.
There, okay.
No, that looks better than the other one. The jet still looks a little suspect, but not as bad as that first one.
But it's like more like a spaceship kind of jet, right? Like a Cyclonus kind of jet, right?
Yeah.
Except Cyclonus is way cooler.
Yep.
Yeah, he is.
Let's just look at Cyclonus.
I mean, it doesn't look bad. I mean, you know.
And then the movie wasn't the character like Megatron himself in the movie wasn't too bad of a character. He had like more of a.
It's just
more
some
dialogue, I guess.
It's like
I'd like to see a remake. I'd like to see a remake of the film Taken, but the role of Liam Neeson would be played by Cyclonus, the assassin.
I don't know. Liam Neeson's like 100 years old, so I would say maybe Alpha Trion. He can play Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Cyclonus looks like an old guy too. He talks with like an old man voice.
Yeah. Was he Leonard Nimoy?
No,
Leonard Nimoy was Ultra Magnus, right?
No,
Galvatron.
Galvatron.
I said Ultra Magnus. Stack, Robert Stack was
Ultra Magnus.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Listen, you don't need to watch Beast Wars. You don't need to watch none of this other shit. You just need G1. You're cool with us. However, your Transformers, your Star Trek knowledge that you displayed on a previous podcast is a little suspect. I think that's what you need to do. I think you need to go and binge watch a little Star Trek before you like start to hang out with some real motherfucking nerds.
You know what?
Your shit is not up to par when it comes to Geordi LaForge and the crew.
I don't, but Captain Kirk was a cool bastard. He was.
Yeah.
You damn stupid he was.
Right? How many episodes? Like 3 seasons or something? Wasn't that many seasons? Star Trek?
The first Star Trek, I think it was only 1 season, right?
Yeah, it was like 67 episodes or something like that.
Shit, that's a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes, but it was like it didn't. But it was like 1 season, or maybe it was 3 seasons. I don't know. But it was like canceled. It wasn't a big hit when it was on the air. It became a hit afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yep.
So I have a buddy who works with me. I'm into risk management and stuff like that. I work for an agency here in DC, and a guy, one of my colleagues, right? He goes on cruises, Star Trek cruises.
Okay, all right. So he's serious.
He is serious, man. He looks like
so he goes on a cruise. So automatically, not only are there motherfuckers dressed up as Star Trek people, but you are on an actual vessel that does have a captain.
Yep.
Interesting.
Because Star Trek, I
Oh,
was in the Navy. I know they follow a lot of maritime language and rules and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah, he showed me pictures. It was actually pretty dope. It was pretty dope. I liked it.
You imagine
He
like you
told me I
have
could be the black guy.
Oh no, tell us about that. We never heard about this. Like, what do they do on this cruise, and how
Mhm.
serious are? Is it
I don't
only
know.
the
I mean-
people? Is it like just like the customers who are dressed up as Trekkies, or is it like the whole crew of the ship is like wearing Star Trek outfits?
That's actually, I'm asking that. I don't know. I know the people who, because the cruise is specifically for Trekkies, right?
ooh.
So they're coming in garb.
Yeah. So, but imagine if they actually had the captain of the ship, dress up in a Star Trek outfit. That would be crazy.
They
Mhm.
may have.
You know, it'd be really crazy if the boat.
This
was
is your
the love
captain
boat.
speaking, for real this time.
No, but they're on the love boat.
Starboard side.
Wow, this dude.
And they head out to Fantasy Island.
Okay, crossover. How about this? Crossover. Starscream's Brigade and Gilligan's Island.
Wow.
That's it.
Yep.
I can envision that.
Yeah.
See,
Well,
Tom Hanks shows up for a scene, and then he's like, "I'm on the wrong island."
Yeah. See,
Mary
that-
Jane used to be hot on that show.
that's a lost reference right there.
What was the reference?
Professor Preceptor and Marianne here on Starscream's Isle.
Preceptor and RC. And Alita, one. You got like two females to choose from.
Oh, you motherfuckers burnt up.
that would definitely be in the Marvel universe.
Hmm.
It'd be interesting. But you know what though, honestly, like if you look at some of the data in the Matrix, not to like just come out the field with this, but it's proven that guys like us and our age and who really came up as children on this, and when we're for one, a lot of us are doing okay in life where we can afford to buy these expensive toys. Kids can't afford to buy masterpiece releases. They're too expensive. These third-party releases and all that are very expensive. And these G1 characters that are coming out, they sell out immediately. Right,
Yeah.
Cal? I mean, you can't get anything unless you pre-order like months in advance.
Mhm.
So the
Yeah, it's
market
crazy.
is there. So why not put out a movie that can that would appeal, that we would like the beginning of the Bumblebee. If they made a full
Yeah, that's weird.
feature,
That's weird.
it would sell out. It would do well. They can have the characters from the movie sell. We buy the same things over and over again anyway.
Mhm.
Well,
You know?
there was talks. So a long time ago, I think before the last night or something like that, they had like this writer's room. And in that writer's room, they were supposed to come up with like a whole bunch of different ideas and so forth, right? And then part of it was supposed to be Transformers, I think year 1 or something like that. And I could be wrong with the title, but it's similar to that, what I'm saying. And it's supposed to be literally the whole genesis of how the battle started or how the war started. And it was supposed to be exactly like the same kind of graphics that they were using for Bumblebee, the movie.
Mhm.
But instead of as a movie, it was supposed to come out on like Netflix or something like that, or like one of those streaming I guess websites or channels, whatever the hell you want to call it, right?
Platform.
Thank you. So it was supposed to come out on there. I think, and I don't know what happened. They were talking about it, and then after that, it just disappeared.
I would love to know what happened with those conversations.
Yeah, well, you know what? John, we've mentioned so many times on this show that they could have done so many things with Transformers. They could have did something like almost like Star Wars, where the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
They can even bring in another universe when we're talking about like the whole thing with Unicron and the 13 primes. How all that started as well too. and
Yeah.
just build everything all up, right? So they have like years of information that they could turn into shows, or they could turn into movies or whatever, right? And just like what you're saying, we've been asking about this for the longest. It's just, when is Hasbro and Paramount are going to finally listen and do so, and then do something about it? And that's the $1 million question, right?
Because you're right, the content, and it's not just content like filler content to sell toys. I mean, these are interesting storylines that I think that would do well, especially if it's done well, like the beginning of the Bumblebee movie. You know, if it's done in that CGI or whatever, and telling those stories, like we talked about this last time, Spence, like the Megatron origin story is so dope to me. I love it. I love what he stood for. I love that whole revolutionary thing. And then he crosses over. The power got to him or whatever. That story would be good in the movie, in a full length feature.
Oh, for sure.
It would do well.
Like that's a movie I definitely want to see, because they always seem to ignore Megatron's backstory and Starscream, because it's like Starscream's the star of like the show in a sense, but where did he come from? What's his backstory?
Right. And Prime, he was kind of, again, like you said, the Megatron, the kind of the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of Megatron and Optimus, or how they came up. Like, Optimus had a pretty cushy desk, in the cast system. He was a data clerk, right? Megatron was a worker. You know what I mean? They come from different backgrounds, and it's just interesting. And Iacon City and the cast system, where you were a bot, but you did this, from birth. You did that. And it's kind of luck of the draw. I mean, all that stuff to me is interesting, And the 13 Prime, Jesus, I mean, that alone is interesting as well.
I'd say it's almost similar to how they portrayed Xavier and Magneto in the like the First Class movies for X.
Yeah. The perfect analogy. I think it's exactly the same.
Yeah, because I mean, Magneto,
same relationship dynamic.
Exactly, and it's like Magneto just they both want the same thing, but it's like he just gets frustrated to the point where it's like society turns him into the villain.
Great, I love
it. And they tried to portray that same relationship dynamic in the War for Cybertron series, but they just didn't do it well.
Okay.
Well, it's funny you mentioned War for Cybertron. The video game War for Cybertron, they could literally turn that into a movie itself. Right? If you think of all the cinematic features in that video game, and you just play it, that's a movie in itself right there, and it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, people have sort of like made it into a film on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Just playing all the cinematic sequences.
Yeah. And the Dinobots are actually in there, because you have Shockwave kind of going back in time to Earth in prehistoric times, or maybe when that battle was happening, he visited Earth in his prehistoric time, and that's where he got the concept of the Dinobots, and transformed this military group that was led by Grimlock, and then he changed he reformatted them into these Dinobots, right? I mean, into dinosaurs. So like everything's in there. So they have the information. They have it already. It's just
so they have a template, like kind of a story or script to work with.
Yeah, it's just when are they going to do it?
Yeah, I'm really surprised, man. They haven't done it. I mean, they gave us a piece with the Bumblebee movie. They kind of like get everyone excited. Oh man, everyone's excited.
Yeah,
and then you see what's next. It's like, I mean, I'm going to see.
It's basically was a tease to what's to come. But this weekend, I was watching the 13 Primes. It was like a little mini thing. I was just watching it. And to me, I think that should be based off an actual movie, because that could be made into like a Star Wars series with the 13 keys, with the artifacts. I just found out that there's a Star Saber that can go back in time now. There's so many artifacts. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, you got all these artifacts You got the one with the combination. They can transform to a Titan. They can do all these other kind of things, and you got so many. Like it's so much potential that's there. Cause Solus Prime is the first female transformer.
Yeah.
Solus.
The first.
Yeah, Solus. Yeah.
Solus.
And
The
you will see
first.
that. You actually see that in Transformers Prime, and I'll leave it at that. You know what this kind of reminds me of, and tying it back into what we're supposed to talk about, the Marvel Universe. This whole fiasco that Transformers Bayverse went through, it's almost like the DC,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you look at DC, what they try to do, they were always trying to play catch up to Marvel. They were always trying to play, get to that end game with Darkseid, like how Marvel did with Thanos and so forth. But they try to make DC a little bit more grittier and darker versus Marvel. But it was always, instead of making movies on their timeline, their way, and give a really good story, they could have just did as good or maybe even better than Marvel. But for them, it was like, oh no, we gotta catch up to Marvel. We gotta catch up to Marvel. And if you look at Transformers, the movie, it's like Transformers trilogy. It was almost side by side with Marvel's cinematic universe, and I kind of felt the same thing. Like it was like constantly trying to play that catch up, get into the big baddie, which is Unicron, like how they got to Thanos, right? And it's like it's always a catch up. And so when you're not when you're doing stuff like that, you're gonna miss a lot of opportunities. And that's why I believe, Bayverse ended up being the same thing as DC, trying to pack all the stuff up to compete with Marvel. And now they try to do that little soft reboot with Bumblebee. And hopefully with Bumblebee, they'll correct the mistakes that they made.
We needed at least one cat cameo to make it a proper broadcast.
Yeah, the Bobcat took off. I seen it.
Yeah, Pepperoni didn't make it today.
Yeah. What's RJ saying?
Go ahead.
He says that I think the Soundwave satellite concept was cool, but his voice was close to G1, but the robot kind of sucked. The toy was too small too. Is that version better, or the Soundwave Mercedes?
The Mercedes is better.
80s.
I personally like the satellite because of the fact that it plays along with this whole communication persona.
I like the car. I just love nice sports cars. I'm sorry.
He was a Mercedes.
Yeah, in Dark Side of the Moon.
S-Class. What was it?
If it's not a laser gun, it's trash.
Yeah, that is true.
I like the one from the G1 series where he just.
If his trigger doesn't transform into his penis, it's not G1 accurate.
Not Soundwave.
Shockwave or Soundwave?
Soundwave.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Shockwave. I'm sorry.
Soundwave.
So
Shockwave. Hold on. Shockwave in Dark Side of the Moon. I thought that was a pretty cool design. The only shitty part is that they used him incorrectly. He came out like this. In the trailers, he looked like he was going to be like the big bad guy that's going to fight, Optimus Prime and all this kind of stuff. And he looked really like a friggin' awesome badass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the movie, he just, he pops up, in Chernobyl, and you're like, oh wow, this is going to be cool, right? And then he just disappears, and then after that, he gets beat up by a bunch of humans. What the fuck is that, man? Aim for his eye. Well, he has one eye.
With Megatron.
It's hard to miss.
Oh no!
Like Shockwave got to TF for Johnny.
Soundwave.
I can hear you guys.
Oh, Soundwave.
Okay.
Oh no!
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry. Is Galvatron in those movies with Megatron? And if so, how are they explaining that?
So Galvatron was in
The second movie.
No, the third one.
Age of
Extinction. Yeah.
Oh, he is in there.
Yeah. And they took a little bit of elements from
It's
Transformer
trash.
Animated. Yeah, it was trash, but they took a little element from Transformer Animated where they took his head, and the professor there was using his head to create other Transformers. And then somehow Megatron was still alive and he was able to create a body for himself and to and then they were taking his mind and transitioning into that another truck.
Yeah, it's like a new form of trans stuff.
Yeah.
What it was.
Yeah.
And then he became known as Galvatron for that movie.
Best
because it's just fucking stupid.
He was a truck in it.
Yeah.
And the way they sold the commercials, we were thinking it was the Stunticons, and it wasn't even close.
Minotaur.
Yeah. The Galvatron design would be better as Motormaster.
Yeah. So it was just when you're looking at the trailers, like how Spin said, man, it was like we're all getting hyped up. Oh fuck, the Stunticons are gonna be in this. They're gonna have Minotaur. They're gonna have this, and then you watch it, you're like, another shit movie.
That's the worst, man.
Exactly.
When you get hyped up and you're happy, and then it's like.
Imagine if that Galvatron was Motormaster and Minotaur was actually in the fucking film, and he looked like a bunch of cars came together, and now they're smashing shit. Simple. How do you fuck it up?
Yeah, it's so simple.
Bad writing.
Well, I mean, it's simple enough. They could have had Sideswipe and Sunstreaker. Instead, they gave us Skids and Mudflap.
Right.
Oh, come on, let's not get into that.
Skids didn't even get running the freaking G1 series, the first one anyway. I mean, he wasn't like a main guy for sure.
Yeah, there was a lot of stereotypes in there, but you know, again, it's all trash, man. And you know what, Calvin, I'm sorry, buddy, but again, we're gonna compare to G1. And are we wrong to do that? I don't think so.
Man, that's up to you, dog. That's up to you. But sometimes you gotta look at the references to G1. That's up to you. I do it all the time. When I watch these movies, I look at the Easter eggs. I listen to what they're saying, and there are some little snippets here and there. But when you look, it's like you're looking for everything that got to be G1. It don't have to be G1, bro.
Listen.
That's all I'm just saying. Just listen to what's going on and
he's saying that's the measuring stick, though. Like when he measures some of these, not really measuring, but that's his reference, and it's mine too. When I look at these different things, I'm always going to see how it relates back to the G1 line because that's what I'm going to do. It's like natural for me.
But you know what? It also kind of reminds me a little bit of Star Wars. Like, was fucking Ryan Johnson over there doing, what was it? The last, I don't know, the second one there. He directed.
You talking about the new Star Wars shit? That shit's fucking trash, bro.
So thank you. So
that's fucking trash, bro.
No, but that's what kind of reminds me of. Like with Ryan Johnson, the director, doing the second one after the
new Star Wars is awesome.
Okay,
it's fucking trash.
Thank you. It was Luke Skywalker. They're fucking dying. What
the original Star Wars is the shit. The new shit now is fucking trash because they did not go off
the new Skywalker
like
is so awesome. When Luke came back, couldn't have been better.
Yeah. Okay.
So much snippets they left out, and his kids in the movie that everybody did not see. So I love it when people just, it's a great movie. They don't read the books.
Okay, let me finish my point. My point is when Ryan Johnson was basically fucking telling everybody in the movies, okay, saying, forget about the past. This is a new direction that we're going to.
How can you do
Fuck
that?
you. That was trash. And look what happened to Star Wars after and the whole franchise. Everybody's been fucking knocking it down left, right, and center.
So right? I'm sorry, they said forget about the past, but still use characters from the past.
Exactly.
But who's doing that though? That's what you have those fake those fucking awoke critics. That's what you have now. That's running the scenes. That's what you got right now. Running the damn scenes. Don't read shit. Don't understand shit. And this is where it fucks up everybody.
Right. But it goes back to.
Did you guys not watch Mandalorian? Mandalorian is awesome.
No, hold on. You're absolutely correct.
This is the way.
Hold on. Damn. And I was gonna actually get there, D. But the fact of the matter is, they didn't use the measuring stick that they should have used, whereas the Mandalorian and also a little bit of the Boba Fett as well too, because they're the same creators, creators, right? And I forgot his name, the guy with the freaking cowboy hat. They used the measuring sticks of the old in order to produce a good, series. Had Bayverse use the measuring stick of G1,
Exactly. Great.
Okay, then his movies could have been a lot better, and we wouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
the Mandalorian, it looks like they paid attention to what the fans wanted in that series, and they pretty much hit on it.
Yeah.
To me, it feels that way. Why couldn't they do that in the Transformers world? They had the same results.
And
Answer the,
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, go ahead, Calvin.
And that's what I was saying. They actually took their time out to read the Marvel comics. Star Wars is Marvel.
Yep.
They took the time out to read. The Mandalorian is and Boba Fett. They took the time out to read the character and flushed out the storylines. Now these days, you have people that don't read anything, do the rewriting, and then you got the union strike, which causes a whole friction. Those guys will know A from Bullfrog. They don't know shit. I'm sorry. And this is what we have.
They probably licked the Bullfrog.
There he goes talking about Beast Wars again. This motherfucker.
Man, look at this dog ass motherfucker.
Bullfrog. No, that would be dope. There should be a Bullfrog Beast Wars character.
No, if Anthony was on here,
it wouldn't be dope, but it would be perfect for Beast Wars.
Toad from the Marvel universe, right? He can come.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, and Nightcrawler, is that his name? The guy who disappears.
The blue guy.
Yeah, the blue guy. Yeah, they could all hang out together. bunch of toad looking motherfuckers.
That Budweiser commercial, Bud. Why?
That's hilarious.
Throwing a Ninja Turtle.
But he hit that right on the head, man. Like that Mandalorian. I know Mandalorian, that series that doesn't have as many moving parts, but it was good, man. But Disney, they normally do well. Other than the WandaVision, I didn't really like that too much. But
what is WandaVision? You guys were mentioning that before.
Scarlet Witch?
Yep.
You know, they were a couple in Infinity War and all that, so they played off of that. And it was like,
wait, they made it. Was it a TV show? Was it a film?
It's a series.
It was a series.
Oh, okay. All right, so I didn't see it. So how do you guys rate it?
I only watched 2 episodes, and I couldn't.
Have you guys watched She-Hulk?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was trash.
I love it. I think it's great.
Fucking trash.
No, it's awesome.
No,
She-Hulk is amazing.
Trash.
Yeah.
He's a lawyer.
Trash.
Yeah. You don't appreciate the genius of it, Orlati. The satire is too subtle for you.
No, the satires were trash. Had they put Deadpool in there, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
At least Ryan Reynolds could do a nice satire. Okay. Trash.
No cameos in it from anybody.
It's awesome. I love it.
Trash.
Spin, have you seen it?
Oh, I didn't hear. What was it?
She-Hulk.
D probably has a crush on the lead actress. That's why.
Oh, I don't like the actress. I like the CGI. I like the CGI. The actress could be better.
The CGI was trash too. What are you talking about?
One thing is, I actually liked her from Orphan Black.
What's that? Is it the actor? Something else the actress is in?
Yeah, like that's like it's basically it's a sci-fi show where they shot most of it in Toronto, and she discovers that she's a clone of many clones, but each clone is a different personality, whereas like she's just the regular person. There's a clone of her that's a housewife, a clone of her that's like an evil executive.
Because housewives are not regular people.
That's awesome.
Well, I mean, they're regular people, but she's like more the stay-at-home mom. And then there's another clone where like she's like mentally off and like kills people. So it's but they soon discovered that like they all start discovering each other and then start researching into the company that created them, realizing that there's also male clones that exist as well. So it's actually a really good series that I think it went through the BBC that they shot in Canada, and it won a lot of awards. So that's why she kind of got known to do the She-Hulk role.
So therefore, She-Hulk is a good show. So you're wrong about it.
I actually enjoyed the show. I mean, I didn't take it
this Wednesday is trash
as
day
serious
for me, so.
as anything else, but it was funny.
I like
You
it.
thought it was funny?
It was very funny.
Oh my god!
It still is.
You know why?
What about
that show was
Wednesday? What
awesome?
about Wednesday? You guys watch Wednesday?
I haven't watched
I
that
watched
yet.
like 2 episodes. I liked it.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So look, you remember what you asked me earlier about the consciousness? If I would do the downloading the consciousnness?
Oh yeah.
So-
Have you only have 2 days left because
Okay. I'm about to get
past
back
midnight now.
But are you familiar with the series Black Mirror?
Oh yeah, of course.
So you saw the episode?
Which one are we talking about? I mean, we've already referenced one of the episodes today, right?
Okay. Well,
Is that what
yeah,
you're-
basically what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Star Trek, and they took the guy's DNA and like rebuilt him into the video game, and he was stuck. It was like a Star Trek thing. It's hilarious, man.
I mean, there's the one that I was thinking of is
Not with the guy from the Marvel universe, not the black guy, not Anthony Mackie, not that one. You talking about when him and his buddy was like going this virtual? They were playing the fighting game and end up becoming like lovers and all that.
No. The one.
Lovers
Wait,
in a dangerous
we
time.
said were they becoming lovers? What?
They eventually, I don't want to tell where I told the story, but yeah, they would play every night this game. It was like a fighting game, like Tekken or Killer Instinct or one of those type games, right? And they would play this every day, and then like it was so interactive that they started like making out and stuff in this game. It was weird, very odd. But
I don't remember this episode. But
Yeah.
but the episode that I remember from what's it called? Black Mirror? Yeah.
Black Mirror.
So it's getting late. I'm starting to get tired. But the episode where they're like it's a romance, and they like meet somebody, and the point is that like you hook up and then you make your relationship work, and then you disappear out of existence or something like that.
I think I saw that one too, but no, I'm not talking about that one. It was a company, right? And they were trying to make another video game or something, and but it was still like in the beta phase, I believe.
Damn.
But the guy had worked there. He liked this girl or something. Anyway, she got his DNA off a soda can, and they like reconstructed him in this video game, and he was stuck in the video game. But the video game was like Star Trek. He was like Captain Kirk or something.
Yeah. But no. Look. I think you're mixing up a couple different episodes like together, because the one where the guy is Captain Kirk is like he has designed this game himself,
right?
And he traps his friends. Okay, maybe, so I'm remembering different parts of it, and maybe you remember different parts as well. So what did he do? He steals the DNA of his coworkers and he puts them in the game.
Yes, and he's the god. Like the guy had to do whatever he said, and he had him in like this weird.
Well, because he's the programmer. So okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're remembering this. Are you saying you're not going to let me put you in my Xbox because basically you realize like that was my plan? I am that Captain Kirk.
Yeah, I couldn't give you that kind of power, bro. That was a rough existence.
You notice I'm wearing my orange Captain Kirk shirt right now?
Oh man! Now you're giving me Andre 3000. Yeah, Andre Benjamin for sure.
You know the funny part why you guys were like going back and forth. You know,
coming up, slamming
Steve and RJ were having a pretty good conversation among each other. You know that, eh?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't see. What are they talking about?
They're talking about Galaxy Force. They were talking about Beast Wars. There was a frog, bull in it. Now Steven was talking about, RID there. They had. I think these guys should join our cast and talk live.
Yep. We gotta get them on the show.
Like they have their own show going on within the show.
Yeah. See, one of the reasons why I love Transformers, because when I was growing up, and I've said this many times, right? I didn't grow up, rich or anything. I grew up in an immigrant family, so I was very happy to get a Transformer because that was 2 toys in one.
Mm-hmm.
So right now you're getting two shows in one. You're getting us talking. You got RJ and Steven going on. There you go.
More than meets the eye.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Look,
man.
and they're still going at it. They're still talking. They haven't
RJ
referenced us at all.
RJ Eagle says, "Darn, I missed out on those deluxe Insecticons." That's also missing from my G1 collection. I have a near complete G1 collection, but I don't have the deluxe Insecticons. Except for I think I have Chop, but not the other two or three.
Barrage and Ransack.
Yeah. I have Chop.
What's the Red Beetle?
I don't know which is which though.
No, the Red Beetle Chop.
That's the one I have.
I have that one too, but not the G1 one.
Scrapple?
I have the 2010 one, whatever it's called, the Legend.
Doesn't count. What'd you say, Johnny?
I said my wife was calling.
Oh,
she's like, get off and take the garbage out.
Oh no.
I probably need to do that too. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Don't say that loud. You get thrown out.
Well, I say we do the next 15 minutes because I gotta wake up early too. Because one of the reasons why I was having a shitty day today.
Hello.
And I gotta wake up early in the morning.
Right. Gotta go. My wife is calling me.
See, I told you.
It's all over with. It's okay, man. It's all right.
It's all good.
All right. Good seeing you, bro. Catch you next
Good talking
week.
to you guys again, man.
Yeah, cool. All right,
have a good night. Be safe. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Take care, buddy. So, one of the reasons why I was having a shitty day is because this evening, one of the reasons why I joined late is that one of the snow plowers for the city that was cleaning where the bus stop is decided to reverse all the way back and hit my car.
Oh no!
Yeah, so my back bumper, rear light, and the trunk itself is all smashed in, and I have to go bring my car now to my buddy's body shop, and see if it can be fixed.
You're not gonna sue the motherfuckers?
In Canada, it's a little hard to sue people like that.
Man, you need to get the fuck up out of there. That's all I can tell you. Get the fuck out of there.
I've been seeing this for a very long time.
Like literally, you let one of these motherfuckers hit my car here, they finna get their ass sued.
Yeah, no. See, the problem here in Canada, well, I shouldn't say in Canada, in Toronto, it's called no fault insurance, right? No fault insurance. So I can't fault the person that hit my car.
No, you can file something against their insurance.
No, so what happened is that my insurance company here will cover everything, make sure everything's all said and done, so there's no hassles or anything like that. Then my insurance company will go after their insurance company for the money that is owed for fixing my car.
Yeah.
Right? But I can't go and sue that person.
Well, I mean, there's always small claims court. Depending on what the number amount of damages.
Yeah, I'm not going through that route, man.
No,
for what? For what? For $1,000?
No.
Where in the States, I can go after them for pain and misery and everything else under the moon, right? So,
holy moly, that's crazy.
I don't know. Here, I got a picture. Let me see.
Damn.
And it was funny because I came back from London, Ontario, for my son's tournament, which they had a good time there. And then before we had left, one of the parents' car got broken into.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's been one of those days. Let me see if I could get a picture.
Yeah, the city's just been wilding out lately. RJ Eagle says, you got to charge the snowplow guys.
Well, don't know if that makes if you can see that.
Ooh. Damn.
That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
The trunk. I don't know the trunk. Oh, wrong finger.
Yep.
See, it's all dented in right
Yeah,
in here.
you like to smash the light in
man.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, that
smashed everything.
sucks.
So, yeah. How you doing? Let's see if there's a better one here. Let's go. I don't know if that makes sense.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
not a little tap.
And I said to the guy, I was like, you know the sad part is these young guys, right?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah, young kids. And I looked at the guy. I'm like, dude, like seriously, like, did you not see my car? Cool.
I mean, it is about the size of a car.
Exactly. Well, it's black and it's. I'm like, what do you mean it's black? You didn't see it, whatever. Like, you had to drive by my car regardless to do what you got to do, and you can see. Because why are you being rude for?
See me? For me, what you being rude for? It means that you would be begging for your life. Let me see what else. Begging for mercy, and I just put you out of your misery.
Well, you know what the funny thing is, Calvin. That's I said to him, I go, I think it's better that I'm being rude to you right now, versus going into my garage and then coming out and not just only fixing the car, but I'm gonna have to fix you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's enough
Tune-up.
said.
They're giving you a free tune-up, right on the spot. Free tune-up on the spot.
And he's like, oh, okay, man, I get it. You know, I understand. I'm like, okay, so be happy. I'm saying this to you right now instead of something else, right? So that's my shitty day for you guys.
So what?
Man, this generation right here don't give a shit.
Oh,
Motherfuckers don't care.
Because somebody else is gonna pay for it. They don't have to. And if they get fired, they just go find another job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Bach says black against white snow, meaning your black car. How did it not stand out against white snow?
Mm-hmm.
But because it's late at night and I'm tired, I read it as black against white snow, and I thought he was trying to inform us that there's some kind of race war going on between regular white snow and some kind of black antimatter snow.
Mm-mm.
I would be much more interested.
Mm-hmm.
Black against white snow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, some multiverse where a planet like the snow comes down black.
Yeah, and it's hot.
Ooh, lava.
That's right.
That'll be
Lava
awesome
rock
too.
snow.
I get to push people outside.
See them melt.
Anyways, so that's my day. Mike, any news before we head off? Because I gotta wake up early in the morning for this nonsense that I gotta deal with.
Mm-hmm. Well, other than thank you to everybody that has come through to our comment section that has taken over and turned into its own show itself. So remember to comment, subscribe, smash that bell. We come in every week. And be a guest if you're so brave to walk into the frenzy freestyle
and get roasted.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Someone saw me on the high. Ben, you're supposed to cut it right there. You're supposed to cut it right there.
Yep.
Mr. Q.
Yep, missed that one.
Well, hold on. Let's go back to the future. Let's replay that again. Hold on. Put that comment. There you go. Ready? And action.
Damn.
It didn't work.
Action. Wait, hold on. There we go.
That was your cue to end it there, Mike.